Welcome to the Four Brewers podcast. My name is John Holzer, and as always, I'm joined by
the thirst mutilator, Jason Harris.
Greg Nagel.
Did you get beer in your eye again?
Yeah, on my cheek.
Sorry, Joe. Sorry, go ahead.
And Joe Senegal, yeah.
This week on the show, we are drinking beers from Mcilhenney Brewing Company out of Alpine, California.
Whoop, whoop.
Formerly known as Alpine Brewing Company. Even though Alpine Brewing Company is still technically a thing, it's the people that started Alpine, then sold Alpine to Green Flash, and now they have opened their own brewery. And we were talking in our Discord right before the show. Greg was dropping some comedy.
Hilarity.
So off the bat, I'm going to just go with a non sequitur to get out of my system, which is to say, Mcilhenney always now. So Rob Mcilhenney, who's on Always Sunny in Philadelphia, there's also a show that he did where him and Ryan Reynolds bought a fucking football team.
Yes, in
European,
England, right?
The European kind in Wales, which is a different country, but yes,
it's close enough.
In Wales, which is not England, but
so
yes,
what does this have
England.
to do with Patrick McIlhenny?
What's the sequitur here?
That they made up? They made up like soccer chants that like have his name in them, and so then I think of those when I think of this, but I don't remember the chants that well.
Okay, good tie-in.
Yeah,
so, yeah.
I really wanted to bring us in with some energy.
Hey.
Friday night energy is what we're trying to do.
Yeah, it's Friday night. We're recording on a Friday night just because it's a busy month, and I'm out of town. I'm in Vegas. If you're watching the video, my background looks a little different. It's because I'm in a hotel. And Friday night seemed like a good night to do it. I don't think we've ever done a show proper on Friday night. We've done drunken Friday night COVID stream things, which I have been scrubbed from the internet. Yes. They're gone because I have deleted them.
It's good to them up there.
Yes, Joe.
And from my memory,
they were not fun. I mean, they were fun, but the next day it wasn't fun. So this is our first time recording on a Friday night.
Greg's like, let me tell you how you can find out that it's a Pollock girl that you're finger blasting.
Well, I remember we briefly
tried
the game together, and we play the Division 2, and you guys would just be like, John, what are you doing?
Drunk.
And I'm just like, oh,
he's
what?
running in a corner.
Those were pretty rough.
He's running in a corner like an NPC.
Exactly.
I wish I would have seen those, dude.
Yeah, those are rough.
They're better lived than watched.
John's not an FPS gamer. Let's just say that.
No, it's not my thing. And I think I played Far Cry 5 for, I don't know, 25 hours.
That's the game still holds up.
And
Dude, you guys remember the old FPS Doug videos, right? Like on YouTube?
No.
Oh my gosh.
Was that the one that was like graphics? Or am I thinking someone else?
He was the dude that would be like, he's like, come play. Oh, gosh, I don't remember what game they were playing, but he'd be playing, he'd be like, boom, headshot, like just yelling the whole time.
Yeah, I remember Boom Headshot. Yeah, I remember that guy. No, the guy, I'm thinking of a different, like, annoying gamer voice guy.
Yeah, I mean, we should Leroy Jenkins into these beers, right?
Speaking of the beer, first beer we're opening up, we got 4. We got 3 IPAs and 1 bourbon barrel-aged stout, because that's all they had available for the sale at the time when we bought these.
And a bourbon barrel-aged stout when it's 115 degrees is sounding fantastic
in this economy.
So listen here, dear listeners, we are qualified to do this show, uniquely so, in that I believe we were the only beer source to document the demise of the original Alpine. When their beer stopped being brewed there, moved to Green Flash, when Green Flash fucked it all up, we caught that brief flash, that the Green Flash moment of that beer, in that we side by side drank the ones from Alpine and the ones from Green Flash fresh because they were still selling growlers out of the Alpine location, and they were selling growlers out of Green Flash as well.
Guys, that was almost 10 years ago, because the acquisition of Alpine by Green Flash was about 10 years ago, and we recorded, I think that was the show. It's called Settling the Green Flash Alpine Debate, August 10, 2015. So,
and for people who don't remember, the debate was whether the beer was good still after it moved to Green Flash. And for the Too Long Didn't Read, it was not, dear reader.
It was absolute horseshit is what it
wasn't even the same neighborhood.
Yeah, if you go to the blog post, Jason has side-by-side photos of the Green Flash variant of Duet and the Alpine version, and then the Green Flash variant of Nelson and the Alpine version. And dude, I'm so glad you brought this up because I was looking in my photos for a picture of a glass of Nelson because spoiler, later in the show, we're drinking Mcilhenney's version of Nelson. It's called something else, but not to get into that, but it just seems way more cloudy now. And looking at this picture here, the Alpine version is cloudy, but it's not hazy IPA cloudy.
It was never a filtered beer, and I think
Right.
they are leaning into modern brewing techniques a little bit.
Maybe
the beer's changed slightly, and it's still rye based, which I think is pretty cool.
Right. Yeah,
Dude,
we'll
I did a YouTube video about 10 years ago, and I had a Green Flash bottle of Nelson and an Alpine bottle of Nelson, and I was telling the whole story about how Alpine was really what like super got me into IPA for San Diego beer. And I did this whole thing and like drank both of them, and I was talking about like how disappointing it was and how sad I was. This dude called me like, "Look at this fucking idiot getting upset that his beer's like being brewed by someone else anymore. What a dummy!" And I'm like, "He's so right." I'm like, "Why am I that upset about this? Like, this is stupid."
Yeah,
I mean,
we got called out.
Dude, Nelson literally changed my life. That beer, it did. I drank that. I'm like, what? This is the greatest beer I've ever had.
Look, caring about anything is fucking stupid. Like, why do you care about that TV show? Why do you care about your fucking kids, team?
Dude?
Yeah, I mean, like, right? Like, why don't you just go out there and get on that grind set instead of fucking watching that movie? Like, fuck off, man.
I guess anybody with a microphone and a keyboard is an expert. That's a quote from somebody from Green Flash back in the day.
Speaking of which, looking at our blog post, I did not remember that there was actually like a long email that he had sent.
Oh yeah, because we did a follow up to that because he listened to the show. Yeah,
we should read that.
Dude, the coolest part about the old Alpine days though is that it was literally a trek. Like it was where I'm at in North County, hour and a half each way. And there was only, I think, 3 or 4 bottled beers, and you can only get 3 per person. But when you went there was all kinds of like rad beers that you never heard of on tap. So like they had High Kicks and Bad Boy, and
it was great, yeah,
dude. And you would just have these beers, and you're like, oh, dude, they don't have food anymore, by the way, at the new place. I heard. Yeah,
it was the epitome of like the kind of beer adventure that got us into the whole thing in the early days, right? You had to go out of your way. You're going to like kind of a mountain town. It's a small out of the way place that you probably wouldn't go to anyway, otherwise. And you go into this little spot that looks like it looks like it's big enough to hold 3 people. And then somehow there's like a little restaurant in there.
Yeah.
And then like, it's like, oh, holy shit, these guys are making all sorts of crazy beer. Like where? And you see like a couple small tanks in the back, and like that adventure where you go to the
building. Like
you had to walk around into the thing. Yeah. You like walked into where their brewery was to get bottles.
Yeah. It was crazy.
You know, very similar. Joe, have you been up to Kern?
I have not.
Kern
I've always
River?
wanted to do that too.
Very similar vibe. Much farther into the middle of fucking nowhere. And Kernville is a little bit more of like a literally tourist only town. Like I think Alpine is like not really tourism, like mostly it's a mountain town that people live in. I'm sure there's some tourism there, but it feels like people live there.
It's a road stop on your way from like Indio or whatever.
But Kernville is like a tourism town. It is all tourism, so it's a cool vibe. But
dude, I befriended a bottle shop owner in Carlsbad, and New Year's Eve of 2014, he was like, "I can get you a case of pure hoppiness," and I'm like, "I can only get 3 bottles at the brewery. How are you going to get 12 bottles?" And he's like, "Come back in 2 days." And I came back. I paid like $144 for it. I did not give a shit, dude. We had the best.
But what about Expo, Joe? What about Expo? You didn't.
Well, Expo, remember that was the brown paper tickets thing. It was 2 per person, like way back then. No, it was awesome.
Expo being exponential hoppiness, by the way,
which was the triple IPA version of.
It was the
it was the Pliny the Younger.
It was the younger, but San Diego's first, I think, triple IPA.
But yeah, I got a case of Bombers of pure hoppiness for New Year's Eve, and it was the greatest New Year's Eve of all time.
So as I mentioned, we opened a can, first can from Mcilhenney. This is Wizards 1 IPA. It's a 6.7% alcohol by volume IPA, West Coast IPA. Yep, it says West Coast right there in the can, with Strata and Mosaic hops and 2-row Golden Promise white wheat, Gold Pils Vienna, and Carafoam.
And dude, the crazy thing about smelling this beer, I mean, it's warm out in my garage. It's like the perfect blend of Strata and Mosaic. Like it's this crazy fruity blueberry, little bit of dank
Dank.
thing without getting crazy, but it's so fucking like hop candy.
I'm gonna off the bat give them a little bit of constructive criticism, which is to say, Wizard's Wand sounds like you're talking about his dick.
So what?
You know,
I'm just letting you guys know, if you didn't think about that element, it does sound like you're talking about a dick. So,
Harry,
like,
you're a wizard.
yeah.
this beer is my Horcrux with these two hops in it. It's got Strata is one of my favorite hops, anyways. It's just so fruity pebbles.
Yeah,
Meets like lemon verbena, meets the blueberry candy thing. And let's talk about the malt bill. Holy shit.
Yeah.
When's the last time you saw more malts in an IPA than hops?
They're all lighter malts, though. You know, they're not really.
Yeah, but they all play a role, though.
Yeah, they're. You know, you got okay. So 2-row, that's your base malt. You
But
gotta
when's the
ferment
last time you
something.
saw white wheat or wheat in a West Coast?
That's a good point.
Building the body.
But you know, it's there for the body, so that's
It's the beach blonde.
And also, it is crystal
body.
fucking clear, by the way.
just like
Yeah.
I like it, Jason.
There may be wheat in there, but this beer is not even cloudy. Like,
Wheat.
this is clear and bright.
Hayes Bros
And,
are like, what are you drinking, bro?
mouthfeel, the mouthfeel is where it all pays off too, because it's so like very viscous and like there's definitely a beer in your mouth. Like this thing is like a
That
That's like
Wizard's
a-
Wand
it's
is
a heavy
definitely in your
load.
mouth, brother.
that Wizard's Wand is in there, just like a
put a spell on
wizard
your mouth.
sleeve.
A
It's
wizard
going in with my
sleeve.
wizard sleeve. Yeah.
Makes you hang like sleeve of wizard.
Hanging sleeve. I don't know.
He
I don't know
doesn't
what
know
the
what a
sleeve
wizard sleeve
reference
is.
is. So
The wizard.
Look up
curtain.
wizard sleeve on Google.
I'm gonna
Go on Urban Dictionary, Greg.
something weird from this, which is weird to say with a West Coast IPA, but I think there is a little bit of subtlety to it. It's
Mhm.
not just hitting you in the face with the flavors. Like,
it's not gripping.
It's got big hoppiness and it's got big aroma, but it's not overwhelming aroma. Like, Joe was able to pull out a bunch of descriptors, but you do have to look a little bit. It's not like a blowing your nose away, like blast of aroma at you. And the flavors are the same way, but it works really, really well.
Jason,
not
you got to
really
remember,
bitter.
I'm sitting in a garage. It's about 1,000 degrees, so my beer is like warmed up quick. So like the aroma,
that's
I
fair.
think it's much more aromatic.
But flavor wise too, I'm not getting a lot of bitter off this.
No,
I
this
do get
definitely that new-
bitterness.
This is
I
that new
get
school
like
West
a
Coast, though.
lingering bitterness that kind of hangs out. It kind of just fades away over your palate, but it lingers for a minute or so. But I think if it were any more bitter, it would be taxing and it would be difficult for me to drink. It's because with all the flavors going on with that, especially the fruity kind of grassy flavors, adding more bitterness to that would kind of, I think, ruin it for me. So I think
Grassy
it's
flavor.
perfect.
That's a good call. My first initial thought was sort of like European IPA, where they do like accentuate that grassy note a little more.
right.
But it's just got a nice mouthfeel where it's not necessarily bitterness that hangs out, like the hop flavor lingers, which
And I think that we've talked about that a lot, especially when we've been doing a lot of West Coast Pilsners and stuff, that like sometimes the hop flavor will just sit there and linger on especially on your upper palate or on your tongue. And it makes the beer feel a little bit almost draining to drink, because you're just kind of like, every time I take a sip, it's like weighing my palate down, weighing my mouth down. And I just have that flavor in there. And then you start craving something else. But this one cleans up after itself so well.
That's what I was gonna say. People hate when I say clean, but this beer's clean to me. Like, it goes across your palate, you get the flavors from it, but it doesn't linger.
What's the problem with saying a beer is clean? Like, I, think that's a
People
great
are just like, what,
descriptor.
they're like, what does that mean? I'm like, it's fucking clean, dude.
it's
I don't
not
know.
dirty.
It cleans up after itself. That means
Right.
it's not overly sweet to where you're kind of like it feels like syrupy and heavy. It's not
Right.
overly bitter. It's dry enough. It's carbonated enough. Dry
you
enough
know what
meaning it has enough alcohol in there to kind of
We-
lift everything off your palate. I mean,
fucking
that's
clean.
a very perfect.
We
descriptor.
cheat. Our format is there's 4 of us, so one of us can ask that question, and the audience can be like, "Oh, I didn't know."
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me, like the mouthfeel reminds me of like Chardonnay, of how that
Really?
sort of hits your palate and hangs out. Like, I mean, just not, it doesn't taste like Chardonnay. I'm saying how the mouthfeel, the viscosity.
Yeah, this shit's buttery as hell.
Greg's got the
Huh.
best, like,
Nice.
I got to hang out with Greg last weekend, and the shit that he says about beer is fucking awesome.
Yeah, thanks, man.
It really is.
It's like this beer's good.
This is a off topic. So this glass I have is from a restaurant here in Vegas called Tacos and Beer. Their beer selection's okay, but their tacos are really fucking good.
Very
and I
good
bought this
tacos?
glass for $14 because I forgot to bring a glass, and I was not about to drink beer out of a paper cup.
What's their veggie taco option, John?
They have like a fried guac or avocado thing.
Oh, no. Dude, avocado tacos, playa.
A deep fried potato taco, and
That sounds good.
I don't
Potato
remember.
tacos
Yeah,
are
there's a
good.
third one I don't remember.
Mushroom tacos are one of my faves.
Usually when I'm in a hotel, they always give you that one rocks glass, and so like I've drank a lot of beers from that.
Yeah,
one
dude.
rocks
Again,
always
this
say that
hotel
hotel
is a
glassware.
step up, is a very big step up from it's $150 more a night than the other one, but it's
Oh,
still
bowling.
still paper cups.
Damn, does it
Patreon,
smell like
Patreon
soap?
money, playa.
Yes, no, Dad's money.
You should have tried the
Um,
Marriott, dog.
But Greg, so the bartender, he was experimenting with drinks, and he made a gin drink, and he made two of them. He made one with guava, like a guava thing he came up with, and then one with a ginger beer thing.
Okay.
Off the top of your head, which one do you think you would prefer?
I mean, a ginger and gin thing is basically a mule. I think that would be fine.
What do you think about guava and gin?
Guava and gin? I mean, there's a lot of clashing botanicals. I think it'd kind of be funky.
See, I picked the guava. They were very similar, but the guava, you know, we always talk about guava stank. It didn't have that, but it had a touch of the guava.
If it's fresh
on the
guava
aroma.
versus like syrup, like I don't know, like the juice guava you get from your grocery store. I mean, you can
Yeah, I'm
mix
not sure
it
what
with
it would be.
anything, and like the sugar and that would overpower.
I had a melon-based cocktail the other day, and it was shockingly good. And it had a little melon ball on a toothpick as a garnish.
Melon ball.
Look at you.
It was
Fancy.
like a sugar melon or something. The melon had a name that made
Sugar
it sound
melon.
like candy.
It's
Ooh,
crazy.
sugar
Brought
melon.
up gin, John, because
Ooh,
I was sitting with Greg at Monkish last weekend, and we were talking about gin, and I don't remember how that came up.
because you don't
remember,
like
Greg?
gin. Yeah,
Well, I think I said I don't drink gin. We were talking. Gosh,
we were talking about drinks or something. I don't
Joe,
know.
Yeah,
you could
we
follow
have a-
my my trajectory, because I used to not really care for gin, and I've really come around on it, and I drink a lot
Jason,
of.
my problem was, and I was telling.
We're talking
Greg
about
this-
juniper.
Right. I told Greg this story. When I was in high school, my buddy who had a fake ID went through a phase where he bought whatever alcohol Tupac rapped about. So the one night was Tanqueray, and we were taking shots of Tanqueray, but the only thing I had to
that's
chase it
rough.
with was Orange All Sport, and I felt like I was going to die the next day. So I was like, no more
Yeah.
gin for me ever again.
Hmm.
So
That's
that
a
was
rough one to
age
shoot.
age 17. Never drank it again.
Gin's a rough shooter, you know. I mean, like, imagine vodka. It's basically vodka with botanicals. It's
Yeah.
not like
Dude, when you're 17, like that's what you do, right?
I think there's a very, unlike other spirits where like let's say bourbon, like good bourbon is good, and if you get like shitty bourbon, it's fine. It's not the worst usually.
still been in a barrel.
Gin, like bad gin is fucking terrible, but good gin is great.
Yeah.
The thing
Like-
about bourbon is there's like a, you know, the law of you have to have,
Right.
you know, new American oak barrels that are freshly charred with, you know,
I don't think
they
I've
can
had
only
bad
be used
bourbon.
once.
I've had shitty whiskey before, but bourbon's usually pretty okay. I don't know.
yeah, that's because of the rules. I mean, you can't fuck it up that bad.
Like my freshman year in the dorms, we also split a handle of Canadian Club whiskey, and another time I thought I was going to die. It was the worst thing ever.
Oof.
Awful.
Oh,
Awful.
no.
That shit's rough.
I got to interview Grandpa Russell, who was from Wild Turkey, and
Jimmy.
he was explaining. He was like, we have good barrels, and all the really good shit goes to Japan. It never sees the light of day here in the U.S. And the normal stuff, like, you know, the better stuff, you can see at some of their accounts, and all like the shitty barrels, and everything goes to Australia because they don't give a fuck what they're drinking. I always love that quote.
That's so awesome.
Except with a southern drawl, you know.
Dude, by the way, I was lucky enough when I visited Japan, I got a bottle of Wild Turkey 12 over there. Oh my gosh. So good. Gosh, so good.
You know what else is good? Mcilhenney's Months IPA.
Ooh, baby. This
Good,
beer just keeps getting better and better
transition
as
there,
we're doing
Jason.
it. Yeah, let's go for the next one.
Yeah, that Wizard's Wand that's my favorite so far.
good.
Me and Greg, we went there about a month or so ago. That was my first time going to Mcilhenney
Road
proper.
trip.
And I've only been to Alpine, I think, twice before that. So
It's like a half hour from Julian, so we made the little side trip.
It's a long ways, dude.
well, it's
That's not
only a
bad.
long drive
Well, for
because
me.
you're going through mountains area and stuff. You know, it's windy roads and shit. At least from
It's
where we were
only a
coming
long
from.
drive because it's far.
Exactly.
It's only a long drive because the mileage.
And I also want to acknowledge there's some people that are asking if we got Nothing But Nelson, which is one of their beers, and then someone else.
Oh, is
mentioned-
that one of their beers? I just thought that was like, you guys are gonna drink nothing but Nelson.
I had that there. So I can comment
I
on it.
have cans of that. Holy smokes! It's
But
delicious.
someone else that's been hitting us up on Instagram, I wish I knew their name at this moment, but I don't. They were asking if we had all gas, no brakes, and I think you just did a video on that, Joe.
I just
right?
posted it today, dude. I
Yeah.
was telling someone like I can't get anyone to watch Mcilhenney videos, and I don't know if they just don't know what it is. Like Mcilhenney
It
beers.
is. It's
If you're outside of California,
What
and
if you
trade beers
put
still-
formerly Alpine
Dude,
Brewing?
I've never done
I
that.
just think
know.
it's the
Well,
old, but even then, I
SEO.
think Alpine is
This-
like the old guard, dude. It's
This
old
Nelson
generation.
IPA will shock you.
I mean, let's look at this. Like, look at our chat. We have Beer Patrol. Like, not to throw shade on them, but
Oh,
they're
Joe-
like,
Joe's here.
but Beer Patrol's hanging out, and they're like, yeah, I never got to try the authentic Alpine beers. I
Dude.
only ever had the Green Flash
Look
one.
at this thing.
And
Joe, I
we
wish-
can talk about a little bit how, like, we've maybe talked about it on the show, maybe not, but fucking when Green Flash went nationwide immediately with all the Alpine beers before they figured them out, it was the biggest fucking own goal, and honestly, probably a major contributor to why that fucking whole brand
Went out of
went
business,
Yeah.
because they bought a
Flash was fine
prestige
before that.
brand that everybody in the country was like, I've heard about them, but I've never had their beer because it's so
Yeah.
hard to get. And then they put it in every grocery store, and everyone bought like a pure hoppiness from Green Flash, and they were like, they were diacetyl, they were fucking garbage.
Terrible.
Like those beers were dog shit. They did not QA them. They did not scale them well. Like
I wouldn't call them dog shit, but
I
they were
would.
not
the
great.
first,
Fuck
the
them.
early pure
They were
hoppinesses
awful.
were straight dog shit.
Terrible.
It was
Like
dog
the
shit head.
first batches that went out, and I remember
Dog shit
sitting
head.
here on like Beer
220
Advocate
minutes.
and on Rate Beer and everything back then, and everyone was so fucking hyped, and they're like, "This is it. This is the bullshit that you guys have been telling us is so good," and they
Well,
just completely burned the brand.
Greg mentioned we were talking about the show we did where we compared the Nelson or the Alpine and Green Flash variants, and Greg said you should read the letter that Mike Hinckley sent. Do you want me to read it? Because it kind of
he
ties
got
in with
it.
what you're talking about.
Did he tell
Well,
you guys to fuck
his-
off?
If it
This
ties
is
it,
his nice
that's
letter,
fine.
not the
You can
mean
always
one
cut
he
it
sent
out.
to Jot at his DMs.
Yeah, he was a dick in the DMs. It's kind of long. It's like 3 paragraphs.
He's being a
So-
dick because he knows it's true.
Hey guys, here's the real scoop on the difference between beers brewed at Alpine and Green Flash. Alpine beers have always varied somewhat batch to batch. When Pat
Wrong.
McIlhenney and
He's
Chuck Silva
mansplaining.
worked on the recipes for Green Flash, they attempted to mimic the ideal batch brewed at Alpine, not any particular batch result. At an all-hands team meeting we had at Alpine last November, one employee asked Pat what he thought of the Green Flash variant or versions of Alpine beer. He replied without hesitation, Nelson is getting better, Hoppy Birthday is very close, and Duet is better than we ever made it. I don't know if I should believe that. We continue to
That's
work on all
bullshit.
the beers.
Yeah.
For the first 2 years of making Alpine beers, there was one major obstacle. Alpine does not filter beer, but Green Flash must because of the size of the tanks. This has caused a difference in turbidity in the beers, which we have not consistently been able to overcome.
It's been disproven.
Consistently being the key word.
Shit.
At times, they have been nearly perfect. At other times, they have not. Recently, with Pat McIlhenney's urging and guidance, we purchased and installed a very sophisticated centrifuge to filter the Alpine beer at Green Flash. This allows our beers to dial in a specific speed to filter each beer, resulting in the targeted turbidity of that ideal batch. We have only been using one centrifuge for the past month and are still fine-tuning the process for each beer. We are very excited and expect much more consistent turbidity going forward. That's a sentence.
Doesn't
So-
this seem
I
like a
that's
doesn't
actually
that
sounds
seem like a
like
forum email?
That
It seems
such
like a
a
forum
horse
email.
shit.
that
Okay,
sends
wait.
out.
Someone start, because
I was gonna say that doesn't that sound like a form email he sent to everybody that complained
Yes.
about the beer differences?
I have a
maybe,
few-
yeah.
It's
comment.
such bullshit. Like it's the big. Sorry, I don't. Whatever. I don't know that guy, so I don't want to say anything bad. But that I would be embarrassed to send that email to somebody.
It was mansplaining a little bit.
Joe, you don't need to be embarrassed.
I'm just saying.
Okay,
that's
I have
the biggest crock of shit I've ever heard.
So I'm looking back at this with a more critical lens than the first time that I read it, which was 9
Right.
years ago.
Jason, I'm going to interrupt you real quick. By the way, that was his response to the full pint, not us. But he did hit us up personally in our DMs.
Oh, that's right, because Full Pint was syndicating us back then, and
Sure.
he sent them an email like,
Yes.
"Hey,
Right.
you fuckers."
Just wanted to clarify and give props to who gets props. So.
And so first off, here's the person that said, at the all hands team meeting we had, an employee asked Pat. So employee asked their boss in front of their boss's new boss, who just gave their boss millions of dollars. Hey, do you think the beer brewed at your new boss's place is any good? And he said, yeah, Nelson's getting better. Happy birthday's very close, and the duet's even better than we did it. Yeah, he's sitting there. He's fucking sitting in front of his boss as the boss, telling his employees, yes, I think the decisions I made at our company are working.
Yeah.
Like,
what's he gonna say? That guy just fucking flushed $2 million down the drain, playa.
Right. That's every all hands employee meeting.
And
secondly,
come on, centrifuge.
What did that bitch say to us? What did he say to you, John?
What, did you call him a bitch?
Yeah. Catty bitch is made for drama.
Jesus.
It's a Friday night show, dude.
Let's go.
Love it.
I
can't wait. Hopefully he writes this
little
again.
email like,
For
anyone with a
Friday show,
microphone
player.
could share their little opinions or some bullshit like that.
I'd have to hunt. I'd have to hunt
Keyboard
for
expert.
him.
It was
He
something.
called me that once.
Yeah, he was real shitty about that show. He was mad.
I was amazed he hit us up. I was just like, wow.
He's
Is that
mad
guy
because
even
he knows it was
still in-
true.
Is he even
Yeah,
still in
exactly.
beer? Green Flash is dead. Like they're only a portfolio brand for Sweetwater now. Like they're gone. Like
Yeah,
they're
they're not
gone.
even in California
people
anymore,
have
right?
moved
Didn't they go to
on.
Colorado or something?
No,
Didn't
no,
Green
they got
Flash
bought
go to
by
Athletic?
They got bought by Sweetwater in Georgia, and then Sweetwater shuttered the San Diego brewery and everybody there. So they're basically just like brewing beer out of Sweetwater in Georgia with the Alpine and Green Flash names for wherever the fuck those sell.
They're fucking listening to Usher or Ludacris and brewing beer.
Right? Yeah.
ATL.
Didn't
So this beer, you guys.
Athletic take over the Green
No, they
Flash?
took over Ballast Point.
Greg,
Ballast
is
Point.
this a gooseberry bomb?
I don't think so. I mean,
I don't know what gooseberries are.
you know what I get is
They're
like
not real.
the Bazooka Joe bubblegum.
Ooh,
Right,
look at
We
right
didn't
off the
really
bat.
intro the beer that we're talking about, did we?
Thank
we
you,
said
Jason.
the name.
It's
So-
months, maybe.
Yeah, we're drinking Months. This is a New Zealand rye IPA. This is made with Nectaron hops and Nelson Sauvin, 2-row Golden Promise flaked rye and acidulated malt, and it's 7.2% alcohol by volume.
I do feel that since this beer is a bit hazier than the original Nelson, if it's this, I don't think it's the same recipe, whatever. I feel like the original Nelson had more of a rye spice to it. I don't feel like this has much of that rye kick to it, but I don't know.
This has Nectaron hops in it, and I don't think Nectaron was
So-
around back
Yeah.
then.
Did we context for the listener that this is so Nelson was one of Alpine's most famous beer, because I think a lot of our listeners don't know or remember Alpine. And it was a Nelson rye IPA. It was a very weird beer, but also one of the best hoppy beers, like
Ever.
insanely well remembered from San Diego beer nerds from the time.
It's a Mount Rushmore hoppy beer.
And so
Agreed.
this beer is called Months, a legally non-infringing name, but Simpsons fans may make the connection between Nelson and Months.
That's right.
So as I mentioned earlier in the show, this beer is definitely more cloudy than I
Way
remember
hazier.
Nelson being. So not that it's a knock on the beer, but I remember when me and Greg went to Mcilhenney, he got Nelson and I think I got nothing but Nelson, and they look very
Yep.
similar, and we ended up
Totally.
mixing them up and drinking each other's beers.
No. Nothing but Nelson's a clear beer. What are we talking
Are
about?
you sure?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I got some other beer. Like
Yeah.
he
Okay.
just poured, or it was some other. Yeah, I don't
All right.
remember what it was, but it
Point
was like
is-
it was a.
Whew. The point is, I didn't. When the beers were sitting next to each other, I was like, well, that hazy beer can't be my Nelson or my Months. beer.
This does look like a
And it
hazy
was.
boy.
Yeah,
And
it
we have the historical reference material because we took pictures of both versions of the old ones next to each other, like you pointed out,
Right.
John. Thank you for bringing that up because I wouldn't have remembered it. But
yeah, the original
cloudy,
was. I mean,
cloudy
it was
versus
definitely.
hazy.
yeah.
It was definitely cloudy, but it was not.
As cloudy as like a
Hazy.
Hefeweizen, right?
Right. OG Nelson's more like unfiltered, right? Than
it
hazy.
looks like an unfiltered, where the green flash was filtered, but a little bit dark and caramelly.
Right.
And this is definitely lost. Like whatever was giving it that darker note in both versions is gone from this one.
Yeah.
Like it is much lighter than even the original Alpine, like kind of light version. This looks like a full-on hazy IPA. Like it's just a hazy boy.
Yeah.
But it tastes like a West Coast IPA.
But it doesn't actually taste like a hazy boy. Maybe this is just to trick the haze boys.
Like it's not overly sugary. It's not overly candied. It's not chalky. It's not obnoxious. I always say that. It's not
The
yeasty.
aroma is very succinct. Like those. I think Nelson is a good base hop for a lot of things. Obviously, it's one of my favorite hops. But adding nectar onto it is going to give you just some round character on the finish. So it's not quite so that easily,
right.
Gooseberry. I don't really get gooseberries off of this so much as like more the candy like bubblegum.
And I think Jason and I had talked about sometimes Nelson can be citrusy. This has a little bit of like a citrus thing going on. It's not like crazy tomato vine, grapey, earthy Nelson.
Alpine Nelson always gave me like an orange juicy vibe back before juicy hops was a thing. But it was just them. Like nobody else ever did it. This one does kind of hit that, but not to the same extent.
I think I get the rye character more on the nose than I do anything else, because the flavor for this is all about the hops and not really like that kind of spicy rye character. And I think in the nose, I'm getting citrus and some kind of like a peppery-ish, I don't know, kind of spice note.
You know what's crazy too is this can is like 7 weeks old and it is still very impactful as far as aroma. Yeah, like I always say that, dude. # Team Old IPA player. Like let hazy beers sit. Like that I don't know. They kind of just I don't know. I like hazy beers with age on them.
They need to sit. They really
7
do.
weeks is not age though. Like let's be serious.
No, that's not old.
That's not old. But I'm just saying you don't have to drink it straight off the tit.
I do really want to call out that their label, like the little information thing they have is like super well designed and really cool. It's like, here's all the hops, here's all the grains, like they have an origin of the hops. So like they have what country your hops are from, the ABV. I love having information about what's in my fucking beer, and that's gone away. It really has died out. That's an old school thing, and it shouldn't be an old school thing.
I will say though,
fuckers.
I miss like the days of the like the random pictures on the bottles that they had. Remember, like the Mcilhenney or what was it? Mcilhenney.
Oh yeah,
Irish
they were
Red
the buildings.
Was like a fucking cabin, like up in
yeah.
Alpine. Yeah, Nelson was like the body of water in New Zealand where they found the hops, and
they were appropriate for the time.
It was super cool. I miss that. This is just, I mean, it's just their logo, and there's nothing to their can art, but who cares? The beer.
I hear you, Joe, awesome. But this is much better. I mean,
it's just.
I get it. Nostalgia is like a thing, and I have that.
Look at those
I have
pictures.
that nostalgia.
So we got the label and the old beers right here.
Okay, yeah, look at those labels, dude. I love that.
Look at it. So on the left we have Duet, and the far left is Green Flash, and then Alpine, and then we have Nelson on the right.
We don't have Duet tonight, so
yeah. But then Nelson.
They make that.
The Green Flash Nelson, yeah, it's consistently darker. The Nelson and the Duet from Green Flash, where the Alpine is basically the same color, except the Nelson Alpine or the Alpine Nelson is a bit more cloudy.
Hey, bro,
John, you're getting distracted. What we need to do is focus on the Nelson. Nah, it got too big.
All right,
look at that.
But what I'm saying is, so this Nelson compared to this month's, like this beer on the screen is so much lighter and so much clearer. And also we've got the label there, which I wanted to tag to
Jason, you're right. They're kind of going towards the more like these days haze bro kind of a thing for this beer, and it's fine.
But it doesn't taste like that, which is good.
No,
so it's a really great beer. I was so excited. But the funny thing is, the first place I drank this was at North Park Brewing.
Oh, really?
Oh, how'd you do that? Does someone have a can?
They just had guest taps.
They have guest taps, yeah.
At North Park?
Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude.
I mean, they also had their own beer, but they had guest taps.
I've only been there once. I don't remember that.
Oh, you should go. They have lots. They have a ton of beer.
It's
I'm
another
gonna go on
thing,
record. And say, oh, go ahead, Joe. That's another thing.
I was just gonna say it's a long drive for me. So if I'm going, like, I either have to be staying down there or
We should 4B Summit in North
dude.
Park, dude.
Let's do it.
We'll
I was gonna say that
Airbnb
it, Beer B&B, or it's the 4B&B.
The
There you
4B
go, 4B&B. We're gonna buy
I was gonna
Joe's
say-
neighbor's house.
for the third time. The months. I mean, some beers, if you think nostalgia, going back in your beer Rolodex, you were just talking about Arrogant Bastard being a pretty good. It still holds up today. Maybe a little bit better than you remember. Months, I remember drinking Nelson back in the day and it being one of my favorite IPAs. And I think this one improves upon it slightly. It not only like kept up with the times, it like made itself better. I think it's more drinkable. It's got more character. It's got a better story behind it. Like all around, it's a 5 out of 5 for me. This beer is like still on the Mount Rushmore of IPAs for my taste.
The thing with both of these is they feel like they're not showy. They're not flashy IPAs. Like they're not like big like attention getters, but they're sitting here like you're sitting here drinking it and you're just like, God damn, this is just a fucking good beer.
Right?
Like, it's not one that you take one sip of and you're like, this is the craziest thing I've ever tried in my life. It's one that you take 10 sips of and you're just like, this beer keeps getting better every fucking sip I have, and it's just so fucking good.
Yeah, I agree with that.
It's memorable. You know what I mean? It's there's a lot of IPA that we drink that's like, it's sort of forgettable.
But I think this is
one
like
sticks.
This beer, I want to say it's a weird analogy, but it's like a workman-like beer. It's just there doing the work where other beers are like flashy,
blue-collar,
or gimmicky, and these are just like extremely well thought out, well crafted beers. They're not doing any gimmicky shit. They're not doing any tricky shit. They're just
on
like
ingredients,
good stuff made well, like made by people who know what the fuck they're doing. And these are just beers that you want to drink like a bunch of times.
You know what's funny, Jason? You say like it's good fucking beer. It got to a point back when I was like really heavy into trading and everyone wanted Alpine beer. And I was like, they're like, I can trade you this, and this for Duet, Pure Hobbies. I'm like, I don't want to drink that beer. I'd rather drink the Alpine beer. So no, I don't want that. Like I always joke, I'm like, dude, if I lived in Alpine, like why would I care about any other beer? I would just sit at that pub and drink that beer for the rest of my life.
That's
we all
pretty
like
much
that
you at
music.
Green Cheek today.
Exactly.
Like, Joe at Green Cheek is like every fucking day. Like, what's Joe doing today? Oh, he's at Green Cheek again.
Hey, listen,
Joe's been trying to find a beer that he loved in San Diego and couldn't do it. And finally, when Orange County came down to him, he was like,
showed him how to brew IPA.
I found the beer that I like.
Well, no, that was actually Swami's for me, like at Pizza Fort. But yeah, and then North Park, I fell in love with hot food, but I can't drive there because it's so fucking far away.
I'm just talking shit that the Orange County brewery opened next to you, and they're your home, and you're a San Diego guy.
That's actually, dude. But when Bagby was Bagby, and they would have Dork Squad on, I would go there every single weekend and drink that beer. I loved it.
Hell yeah, dude. Bagby's baller.
Yeah.
Google dorking.
All right. Can we do an audio cut into the Motley Crue song of Wild Child?
No.
I want to know if this is their old version of Bad Boy. I don't know.
Bad Boy is a barley wine, dude.
No, that's great.
Are you sure?
I think you're right.
Why, John?
Joe,
why do we do this every time?
How credible are you really?
We do this every time.
He has had a beer YouTube for many years.
Jason, I'm being sarcastic.
Let's go. Hold on a second. This will be fun, actually.
I just typed barely wine.
So my first check-in to Bad Boy ever was September 26, 2014 at Alpine, and all it says is fan freaking tastic.
That sounds like Joe.
Greg hyping the label, and again, these labels whip ass. Every brewery put in the work. These labels are so good.
I wonder, actually, does Untapped give you the hop information about beers
too?
They only give you the hop information if the
if someone typed it. Yeah.
decides.
There's literally not a description of Bad Boy on Untapped. What a fucking clown app.
Oh, 0%
No, don't blame
chance.
Untapped. It's it's all about the data that the breweries want to put in there. If they don't want to put that shit, Untapped's not going to make them.
Well,
No
Bad
way.
Boy was-
Original Alpine.
Mcilhenney seems like a brewery that does not give a fuck about.
No,
Untapped.
they do not care about Untapped.
Bad
at
Boy
all.
was 9%.
like,
This is 8.4, so it's not the same.
You know what I could do, since I'm a moderator on Untapped? I could go
No,
in
it's
and
Bad
just
Boy.
add these like ingredients to the description. That way they're there. Would you appreciate that, Joe?
Dude, I would.
Well,
Look at
we're looking at an old beer.
I know,
Look
but I'm just saying for future beer.
John, look at the first hop listed on this label. Let's fucking go.
Columbus. Okay,
love
so
it.
yeah, we're drinking a Wild Child Double IPA. This is West Coast. Everything's West Coast. I fucking love it. West Coast Double IPA with Columbus, Citra, Mosaic, Amarillo hops, and then the malts Arturo, Maris Otter, Matt Becker in the house, Gold Pills Vienna, Flaked Oats, and Caro Foam. This is I think we had this too. Did we have this, Greg? I don't know. I don't think so.
recall. I don't really drink double IPAs, so probably not.
Yeah, that's true.
This beer's right at a month old too.
And this is pretty clear. Maybe
This
just
is
a
so
bit
different
of
than months.
haze on it.
It's so different than months.
Yeah, dude.
Well,
That nose
So-
has that grape candy.
we've been showing off the label, but did we talk about what's in it for our audio podcast?
I just said all the ingredients. Yeah,
Okay, my bad. I was zoned out.
it's okay. This smells.
I had never smelled like grape Jolly Rancher in a beer until you said that. Holy smokes. I'm
a
moving to Greg's
little
house.
vanilla cake batter on the nose.
Oh, I like that call. Good call. Definitely vanilla.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
Concord grape.
Jolly Rancher is a good way
Do you
to
smell
put it.
grape
Just
Jolly Rancher?
Mm-hmm.
a sharp like fruit thing, just kind of peeking through the vanilla cake batter.
Do you guys want to know a fun fact about Columbus hops?
They were discovered in
Sure.
1492.
Early on in my beer world, one of my absolute favorite beers was from Hangar 24 near us, or near me, I guess. And they had it was Columbus IPA. It was just an all fucking Columbus IPA.
That, Jason,
that's
that was a
right.
good beer. That was a very good beer.
That is my 5th most checked in beer on Untapped.
Yeah.
Even though they probably
Has
haven't
each-
made it in 10 years.
Has
When I
Ichiro
used to
checked into that
homebrew,
one?
I used the shit out of Columbus.
Yeah, dude, Columbus is great, and it has fallen out of favor. You don't see Columbus fucking anywhere anymore.
There's not a whole lot of sea hop beers
like
anymore,
Columbus the man, Columbus the hop is controversial these days.
Yeah,
Is it
sea hop
really
is like something you call. It's like a derogatory term to call a brewer. You're such a sea hop.
Wasn't Hangar 24? We talked about that. They did that whole barrel thing, like Gorbachev's Cobra or whatever it was called.
Pugachev's
Pugachev,
Cobra,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh, fucking
Pugachev's
whatever.
bottle.
All right, I'm gonna save. I have a Pugachev's. I'm saving it now for when I go hang out with Joe.
Let's
you
do
go.
it, dude.
You're gonna go. Whoop.
What do you guys think of the flavor on this? This is not what I expected. This is
This
This
again
is-
does not taste West Coast to me.
no, it's like candy-ish. Easy drinking for 8.5,
It's
8.4%.
A little sweet, but
It's
not
a little hot
crazy.
too.
You think
Does
it's
it feel
hot?
like alcoholic?
I'm getting a little alcohol heat
Yeah?
on it. Yeah.
I think it's fine. I mean,
Fuck, dude, I cannot get that grape thing. I can't smell anything else ever since you said that.
sorry, dude.
No, you're an absolute.
I'll let you
genius.
know.
Jason,
I won't say
have,
shit.
have your
No,
beers,
I like it. I'm learning.
Jason? Have your beers slightly warmed a little?
Mine's
I
been on
mean,
ice.
not much.
Because mine's
have
very
squalls?
cold, and I'm not getting that heat. So it might be since it is, a little warmer. Maybe you're getting that.
This isn't a them
no.
thing. It's a double IPA thing. And I'm just going to
Mm.
go on record to say the single IPA was the best IPA.
Yeah, I
And
agree.
We keep making it worse. And so like
I agree.
like when
100%.
Pliny the Elder was a double IPA, it was because it was like fucking 8% or whatever. Like that's normal now. Like 8 should be the top.
8
like-
is like the best spot.
Above 8
For a
This
double.
is 8, I think actually. It's 8
Jason,
4, so
or-
that's still high. But
8.4,
like-
I can say okay.
it's just so I think I've commented on how I like that there's a subtlety to what they're doing with their hoppiness, and I like that there's a bit of finesse to it, and they're not just being like flashy and big with every flavor. And because they crank the alcohol and they crank the beer, it feels like it overwhelms all that. And so now all those subtle notes aren't left, and it just feels a little bit muted compared to the other beers, even though I think all that stuff's still there. Like the malt bill on this is still kind of interesting. It has some stuff that is not super normal, like Carafoam and, you know, Gold Pills, Vienna, Maris Otter and shit. But like, it just doesn't work as well up at this high alcohol content. And I really think just the style suffers from going up in alcohol. Like IPA is perfect at 7, and the higher you get above that, the worse it gets.
I can agree with you to a point. I guess for the general statement that you're making, yes. Do I want to drink lower alcohol IPA for most of the IPA that I drink? Yes, I do. I rarely go to a double IPA. For this one specifically, I think it's more of, it comes off like a dessert IPA for me, not like a milkshake IPA or something like that.
Great thing, dude.
Something that is just like unexpected, and like I was expecting like a kind of a bitter bomb, and it's not bitter. I mean, it's not a bitter bomb.
Not at all. This is all late hops. There's like barely any bittering in this at all.
I mean, it's almost coming off like a double hazy double IPA. But it's not. I mean, maybe a little bit because it is cloudy, but I think in general, though, I agree with you. Like double IPA as a thing, I don't think it should not exist, but am I going to buy it most of the time? Probably not.
I'm not getting those sugary notes I'd get out of like a hazy double IPA. I'm getting a little bit of sweetness, but I think that's a perceived alcohol sweetness. I don't think that's a residual sugar sweetness.
Yep.
And so like, it just feels like it again, this feels like when you drink like Pliny the Elder and drink Pliny the Younger, you're just like, oh, everything that Elder does is made worse by cranking the alcohol and the hops. It's just like the net product is inferior to the one you started with because you crank the alcohol. And I feel like this is kind of that. I don't know, maybe that's just my own thing where I'm getting mad at higher alcohol IPA.
The crazy thing though, these days, dude, if you look at like Untapped check-ins, the higher the ABV when it comes to hoppy beer, the higher the rating is. Like that's what people.
The drunker they are when they're rating.
Yeah, that's true. I was an idiot and I got one of those cans of the North Park anniversary. Fucking 15% quadruple IPA. Like, why am I going to drink that? I know. I'm doing it for science. I might just shock.
We used to have to go to knee deep for such fucking monstrosities.
I think I told you.
Did you just ask if you should shotgun it?
Yeah, should I? I mean,
boof it.
Like right now?
Well, no.
No, Joe, should you do that on our podcast? Like,
don't butt chug it. You may die.
We're gonna
get a funnel.
We're gonna take a 45-second break, and
Joe, I don't have it. I don't. It's in work, dude.
Joe Jaws Senegalia.
Yeah, we're gonna take a 45-minute break. Joe's gonna drive to work, get the beer from the fridge.
He's gonna move it
back.
Joe Jaws Senegalia.
Dude, by the way, did you
chug that beer?
Dude, did you see Joey Chestnut absolutely demolish Kobayashi the other day?
Nah, but I didn't actually.
Bro,
know
83 hot dogs without water. You couldn't dunk. 83 in 12 minutes.
12 minutes?
10 minutes, I think.
83
minutes. Fucking hot dogs and buns.
Because 12 minutes would be longer than Coney Island, but I figured they're going to do the same thing so he can outdo the guy that won.
I'm saying Kobayashi set a personal record and lost by 20 hot dogs almost.
Yeah, I mean his heyday was fucking years ago. Like in like fighting terms, like Kobayashi, it's like having like Anderson Silva fight fucking
Tank Abbott.
Like Israel Adesanya.
From 92.
And you know what happened? Fucking Israel Adesanya got knocked out. Like Kobayashi's the prior generation.
I agree with that. Compressions.
So I agree 100% with Jason here. Like, you know, I think double IPAs. Really? I mean, there's a lot. So double IPAs serve a very specific person. You want to get a buzz off of one beer instead of drinking 2 IPAs, right?
Maybe you're trying to impress your girl, last a little bit longer.
I don't know, man. Like, I don't get double IPAs unless I'm like, I only got like 10 minutes and I need to get a buzz. And
one of my favorite stories is that my wife's cousin went out with her friends to do a brewery run, and they went to like Stone and a bunch of Joe's neighborhood, North County stuff. And she was like, yeah, my cousin picked at every place which beer she would get by the ABV, and she picked the highest one.
Oh God!
And then she broke her finger.
So smart.
So like,
she broke her finger.
Yeah, like there are a lot of people that when they go out, they're like, I don't know a lot about alcohol, so I'm just gonna order the highest alcohol one.
Fucking get after it, dude. I love it.
Get drunk and like put it behind me, and then
I think it's as simple as you're getting what you pay. Like you get more bang for your buck. You know what I mean?
Right.
And you don't really care what it tastes like. You just want the alcohol. And
it gets you more drunk for less money.
Does, right?
And actually, it's not less money either because they give you less beer for more money. Like,
look at Voodoo Ranger, dude, in 7-Eleven.
Yeah,
those are selling like hotcakes. Guess what?
Yeah, well, that's
9.4%.
Every single large regional has a $3.99 20-ounce can of 9% IPA that will sell you.
Yeah, and there's a reason why.
Well, and Jason, going back to cheap beer corner,
taste okay.
You can get fucking tall cans of Steel Reserve, dude. That shit is what, like $1.29.
Oh man, that stuff gives you the shivers every time you take a sip.
It's like 8.7.
The Steel Reserve 911s, yeah, fuck those things.
No, 211s.
Never
Bush
forget.
did 911.
Yeah, but it's 911 onto your liver as they fly. A second Steel Reserve has hit the liver, and then
it's a terrorist attack on your liver
with a Mohammed Atta like attack. Steel Reserve.
Dude, going back to the beer, it like as it's warming up, it's definitely leaning into some honey notes, like this very sort of like Honey Nut Cheerios meets like the Honey Bunches of Oats. There you go.
That is a great pull. There's a lot of honey.
It's very honey, right?
Do you think that's coming from some of the fun malts they use? Like they use like acidulated malt and stuff. It's got to be where you're getting that.
No, that's the other bit. There's no acidulated malt in this.
Oh, it's not this one? Sorry.
And all acidulated malt does is it affects the pH, basically. It's a way to affect the pH without having to add acid to the mash. So, as far as I know, anyway, I mean...
It wasn't us.
Doesn't add anything else.
It's what it's for, though.
It's a graveyard smash.
The mash.
It's in the mash.
I mean, I like the beer. Would I buy it again? No, because I don't want to buy double IPA.
Woo.
But
it's my least favorite of the hoppy beers we drank tonight, and that's not a knock on it.
Okay, so we're moving into a different beer. We're going to go into a bourbon barrel aged Russian Imperial Stout. So of the 3 IPAs, my favorite was the Wizards one. Like Muntz is the second, like by a nose, like just right there. But the Wizards one, that's one I'd buy.
I think
Wizards one easy number one, and then
I was going to say just. This just goes back to preference. If you're more of a hazy beer person, Muntz is your beer, and if you're more of a clear beer person, then Wizards one. I think both of them are so fucking good.
I think this beer is good, and this is very small universe that we live in. Like you send it to someone that's never had, Mcilhenney beer or Alpine beer, and say, "Hey, check this out. This is a double IPA," and they're stoked about it. And like they do, even if they're not a YouTuber, like they get it and they're like, "Oh wow, this was fucking great," and that's where it ends. And that's it.
It is a top-notch IPA. It is still a very great beer. It just, in the context of comparing it to what else they make, it just is like the formula works so much better on a 7% beer than it does on an 8.5. It just like what they're doing works fucking on a 7% beer. It's like world class, and on the 8.5% beer, I mean, it just is like this is pretty good. This is a good. It's a good, very good beer, but the like 7.2% beers that they did were like, yeah, these are. If I had these in my store, they'd be in my fridge every day.
I think it just comes down to subjective and objective viewpoints. Right. Objectively, the beers are all great. Subjectively, I want the Wizards one, and that's it.
Yeah.
So,
dude, I don't have water to wash my. I'm gonna grab a different glass real quick. Hold on.
Yeah, I'm gonna rinse mine out too. Now that you mentioned that, it smells fruity.
Fruity baby. John.
All right, John. What's up, chat? We're rogue. John's not here to control us anymore. What you guys got going on? Is that Carmen Sandiego?
Boom, boop, doom, boom, boop.
Where Greg, in the world is Greg Nagel?
You want to boof the barrel aged stout?
Boofing it.
Let's do it, dude.
Butt chugging, dude.
Did you see the date on this, by the way? Got some age on it, playa.
Ooh, smelling like a. Smell like a 2010s tasting room.
Look at the head on that, dude.
Get away from my glass.
I should have poured this one in my strong ale fest glass, but whatever. It's
I
okay.
have fruit flies all over my fucking house. Drive me insane.
Dude, the bugs have been fucking
Ooh.
out of control because it's insane heat here right now. Where like September in the Inland Empire is the fucking worst.
What just happened to John's camera? We're
John,
Start
show
sending
hog,
dick-
John. No, John almost tubing us, dude.
Show us your wizard sleeve.
Yeah, the Wizards won, dude. Boner check.
Ooh, I want to see. Greg, I can't wait to see what you smell at this because I want to see if I'm smelling the same thing.
Oh
you are.
no, I'm not saying anything.
Hey,
No,
this
you're
one
going
doesn't
to.
have the fucking fun, informative fucking.
It might, but it's just hard, dude. It's hard to read. Like you can't have dark print on a dark label.
yeah,
Oh man,
I can't read it.
there's a lot to pull out.
Okay. Well,
I'll wait for John.
I have a specific memory right away. I want to see if
Same. I have one as well.
I want to see if you
I
agree
have one
with
as
it.
well.
We'll see. And I'll give you a
Yeah,
hint.
dude.
I'll give you a
no,
hint.
what
mine's
is
totally-
this? It
mine's
is really hard to read. It's gold on dark gray.
My hint is movie theaters, Greg.
Just elderly people who can't read fucking cans is our show now.
Go to the
This
show
says-
notes.
Elderly.
That says fucking what?
Elderly.
Well, back in
Can you get those beers at Windsor? Do they have Mcilhenney beers?
no, never seen him there.
No, Mcilhenney. I mean,
I've
again,
only seen him in San Diego.
they're like Alpine. They don't really like move.
Just San
Now-
They don't
Diego.
really distribute. Yeah.
Now that I've smelled what I've smelled in my brain, I cannot get anything else, Greg.
All right. Well, what do you got, man?
All right,
what do
hold
you
on,
Well,
hold
here, I'll
on.
let John,
Bring it in.
yeah.
Hold on.
hold up. We haven't
Bring
even
it back.
talked about it. Yeah.
All right, the final beer from Mcilhenney. This is completely different from what we've been drinking for the entire show. This is their Molotov bourbon. I'm trying to read the label here. Bourbon barrel aged Molotov Special. This is 13.5% alcohol by volume. And there's instead of listing the ingredients like they did on the hoppy stuff, they kind of wrote a paragraph. And it's very hard to read. So pale chocolate and chocolate rye malts emphasize rich fudge-like flavors. Okay, they're getting
All
flavors.
right, that blew it for me.
Bourbon
what I was gonna say.
barrels, vanilla.
What were you gonna
Okay,
say?
there we go.
Fudge
You're gonna say
light.
all. You're gonna say
So
all that?
yeah, this beer reminds me. So up in Michigan, so we have a lot of family that lives in Michigan, and there's Mackinac Island that you take a bridge over, or you can take a boat over, and there's a lot of fudge places there. And one of my favorite ones I've ever had was a root beer fudge, and this sort of has this like sarsaparilla. The beer, at least, Molotov has this like sort of sarsaparilla, vanilla, s'mores almost, but that big sarsaparilla note I get from it sort of reminds me of that that fudge. It's got that fudgy character.
Speaking of Mackinac, did you have the KBS Mackinac fudge last year? Beer,
Fuck yeah. I
dude,
did not
that
like
was
it.
the fudgiest beer I've ever had. Almost. Yeah,
It was like, ugh.
it was very
Mackinac,
fudgy.
Mcilhenney. Think about it, man.
So, Greg, I was gonna say,
What were you gonna say?
as a kid going to the movies, one of my favorite weird candies were Raisinets, and that's exactly what this is. to me.
Raisinets, yes.
Raisinets are a weird candy, dude. I
Well,
They're
literally
delicious.
Why? But
Weirdly,
kids never ate
at-
Raisinets.
I'm gonna
dude.
go
I
buy
was
some
at
tonight.
the dentist earlier, and they were showing episodes of Supermarket Sweep from 1992.
Were they grabbing the
And-
frozen turkeys?
The answer of one of the questions, no, there's a trivia section I didn't remember, and the answer was Raisinets. That's
this
how
beer
not
to me
obscure it was. It
is
was on
straight-
Supermarket Sweep.
This is straight chocolate covered raisin.
I get
that's
that,
what it
yeah.
smells, and I get it. Fucking this beer's delicious. But the only bummer about this beer is it's still pretty cold. I don't get a whole lot of barrel character, and I don't get a lot of bourbon character.
I pulled my beer out of the fridge an hour before we started,
Oh, you're
just so it
smart.
could be warm.
Mine's
Yeah.
warm, yeah.
And,
Raisinets aren't candy. What are we talking about? The
It
sugar content says otherwise, Mr. Phillip.
seems
Raisinets
like
is a good way to put it for the nose too. It's, I mean,
You know
obviously
when-
it's very hot.
Does that
in
make
here,
sense?
too.
Like, do you understand what I'm saying?
yeah.
No,
You know when breweries, normal breweries, when they're brewing a bourbon barrel aged beer, they'll brew the beer a little bit like thicker, a little bit more maltodextrin, like the long chain dextrins are still hanging out, and then it goes in the barrel and thins out a little bit, and they sort of end up with still like a nice mouthfeel. This seems on the thinner side
This
to
is
me,
thin,
which
yep.
I do sort of appreciate because it's a little bit easier to drink than those thick boys.
Yeah,
I think fundamental observation from Bottle Logic is that because that's what they do. They go. I believe that's where we got that from.
That first Dark Star November was the first one. That was their
Maybe
first
barrel
aged. Yeah. And then they came back the next year and they're like, yeah, thanks for that tip. Like we thickened up.
That was our crowning moment. We gave them a little bit of feedback. That is a little bit thin.
Dark Star November was the coffee.
We used your feedback. They're like, you used our feedback. It's the best moment in our lives.
Dark Star was coffee though, right? Big coffee stout. Was that Dark Star?
Dark Star.
Was it coffee?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of coffee, but like subtle. It was more. It was pretty chill. It was before they started putting a bunch of shit in their beer.
It's not a ton of coffee.
It might have had a little, but it was more of just a regular bourbon barrel aged stout. Again, it's before the world went adjunct crazy.
And then they added vanilla beans to it and made FO.
Yeah, they made it brownie batter with FO, and then it turned out. But I kind of with Greg, which is to say, like, it's a 13% beer that we're drinking, and a lot of times when you get a 13% beer, it feels like you took some brownie batter and you watered it down into beer form and booze.
Too thick.
And then you're drinking it and you're just like, God damn, I feel like I'm going to fall into a diabetic coma just fucking drinking this. And this beer is not that. It's not that sweet.
It tastes more cocktail-like.
It's there's a lot of cocoa and there's a lot of
back to the old school.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Joe.
I was going to say, it brings me back to that old school, like Founders Imperial Stout. I can hear you. You not hear me?
It does. Yeah, that's a fucking fantastic call. Yeah, Founders back in the day used to have some phenomenal stouts.
I'm saying that like the old school Founders, just regular Imperial Stout. Yeah, that just it reminds me of that.
Cocoa Bomb.
The era when there was an Imperial Stout that didn't have 14 different desserts thrown into it.
Yeah,
no doubt.
They're not like we added chocolate, vanilla, we added cinnamon, we added some chili powder. Like it's like
12 pack of donuts.
You guys ever watch I Think You Should Leave? It's like when the guy's wearing the whole fucking suit, and I feel like those beers that have all those adjuncts in there are just like, there's too much fucking shit on me. I'd have ripped the fucking head off.
If you gave this to me blind, I don't think I'd be able to tell you it's bourbon barrel aged. I just don't. I'm not that guy when it comes to stouts. This doesn't taste like a big hot like bourbon barrel, super woody. Like there's a little bit of like that vanilla sweetness to it, but this just feels like an Imperial Stout to me.
It does have some barrel oxidation, like micro oxidation.
A little bit
bad.
Yeah. I wasn't going to say that. I was going to say I do get vanilla on the flavor from the barrels. I think.
But like when you drink something like
the nose too, you get like a kind of a spicy wood.
Do you?
Yeah, but again, I don't know how warm your beer is. Mine's probably
yours room temperature.
60,
mine's like 66
degrees or something.
Yeah, mine's were like low 60s.
It's I think it's a fantastic beer. I really have nothing bad to say about it.
It's a good stout. Yeah, no, I don't think I'd be able to.
And for it being 13.5 is big, and you definitely can smell that with with the alcohol coming off the nose. But I mean, it's not hurting the beer.
It doesn't taste that hot. It doesn't taste 13. It doesn't taste 13 hot. If you had to ask me, I'd say it's like a 9% beer,
right? And
it's 13.5.
Like, and I also think when Greg was talking about it's on the thinner side, it just kind of makes it an easier drinking experience when it comes to like a big fucking stout.
You know what this reminds me of? Remember when Stone made just fucking Imperial Russian Stout?
Great beer.
Great beer. This reminds me of that beer, especially the one with age on it. Like it feels like an old school Russian Imperial Stout that we don't get anymore. Apparently Mcilhenney is just the brewery made to appeal to all of us old fucking beer nerds who like beer that's not popular anymore. But like this is so good. It's so good to have a big Imperial Stout that isn't trying to be dessert. It's still fucking beer flavored.
Right.
Like thanks.
Yeah, you're all of the tasting notes are from the barrel and the beer. Like there's no like that sarsaparilla note. I still keep getting from it. It's so delicious.
And I think in the old days when guys it's okay to supplement the flavor a little bit. Okay, there's coffee notes in that, so maybe let's put a little bit of coffee. And I think we've just gone too fucking apeshit on it. And like it's cool to see an old school restrained approach to IPA, to Imperial Stout, that are still like top quality beers. These are world-class fucking beers. Like these are great. Mcilhenney, like all the expectations you have of Alpine is back, like they hit it. They're hitting it.
I got to say, I agree, Jason, for what this is. I mean, you could comparing it to hype beers that you might see from, at bottle shares and stuff like that, where they have all the adjuncts. This is just stripped down. It's good, and it doesn't have any of those like bad things you get from a high ABV barrel aged stout, like oxidation. It's not tannic. It's not too heavy. It's not too thin, even though we're all saying it's kind of on the thinner side of things, and it's not phenolic
compared to normal barrel aged
It's
stuff.
thin compared to the modern pastry stout.
Yeah,
sure.
But it's actually full bodied compared to like. And I think if we mentioned our critique of the Bottle Logic beer, I honestly bet you if we drank that beer now, like with a time machine and drank that exact beer, it probably tasted a lot like it was probably a lot like this, but maybe a little bit thinner. And like, yeah, this just it's great to have a stout that's not trying to be dessert.
Right. You drink a 13% horse stout, you need a fucking spoon for that thing.
Right?
They're doing like a fucking, he's like, I did like an 18-hour boil, and you're like, what?
What were you doing for 18 hours?
Reduction on reduction on reduction on reduction.
Yeah. It was supposed to be a 3-hour boil, but he drank too much and passed out on the grain bag.
It's the thickest beer of all time.
And this beer has a 4.22 on Untappd.
Okay. Yeah,
that's pretty high, right?
It's respectable.
Yeah, dude. Over 4 is
no,
4.22 is great.
Over 4 is fucking whale.
How many check-ins does it have?
4.22 is like people will chase it at the festival status.
Joe, total check-ins for this beer is 373. Unique is 329.
So not a whole lot.
But
you
have to get at the brewery.
It's Alpine, or it's Alpine. It's Mcilhenney.
It's Mcilhenney. It's Alpine, California.
Yeah. I guarantee Pat was sitting at the fucking board meeting drinking these beers, going, "It tastes great, guys. Fantastic."
Yeah.
And they're, I mean, I'm sure they would just call it Alpine again.
All hands.
All hands. The fucking Sweetwater people would fucking sue them into oblivion.
Yeah. And one thing that we're sort of skipping with Mcilhenney is they do have unhoppy beers that are quite delicious as well.
Their Irish Red is fantastic.
Irish Red, they have fruited beers that are so freaking good. They have like a blonde with like apricots, and it's all fresh fruit.
Yeah, my wife Yvonne,
good.
She was digging on the fruited stuff, like, and it's not. Really it wasn't that fake fucking amaretti bullshit.
No. It's real fruit.
It's really good.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
So, overall, really good stuff from Mcilhenney. And the comments we got from people just leading up to the show, like, "Oh, I hope you get this. I hope you get this." Well, we didn't, but it just goes to show, like, we could do another show on this brewery and just showcase completely different beers.
Yeah. And I think for us and our audience, I think there's obviously people out there that want beer to kind of take a step back from the sugar craze that we're in, these days. And I know it's dying down and it's mellowing itself out, but it's just like, yeah, we just don't need it all to be fucking sugar, dude. Like beer flavored beer is still really good, and there's still a lot of room to be creative and make amazing beer that still tastes like beer and doesn't taste like a Little Debbie.
That's the next glassware. Beer flavored beer is really good.
Honestly, 4B beer flavored beer, fuck yeah, I'm all for that.
Damn straight.
Make the shirt gone.
And yeah, one more thing I'll add is every time I've been to Mcilhenney, the staff there, it's always the same people. Fantastic. And they're always hilarious.
Dude, you uploaded like a cool reel on your Instagram, like talking to the beer tender guy. It was rad.
Yeah, he was great. We had a good time. He we were just there drinking. And
again, our first time there, and we brought our dog Betty. And we're like, "Are dogs okay?" And they're like, "Absolutely. Here's the dog station where you have 10 different treats to choose from." And the same guy that was serving beer, he brought Betty a treat, and she didn't like it. And
Betty was a fucking treat cicerone that day.
He's like, "Hang on." And he got some kind of chicken thing and gave it to her. And she was like, "Oh," like he totally cool place. Like it's like the vibe there is just,
it's a treat.
Yeah,
it's awesome. If you're in California, outside of Southern California, they'll ship you beer. So go on their website and order beer, dude. It's worth your time for sure.
Absolutely. I think we're good there. What do you think? I
I'm
think you
going
all
to
agree then.
stop.
It's a good place to end the show.
Yeah.
I can't dilly-dally too long. I'll upload
And
the show and everything.
Dally. Do that.
Let me
alley.
see. Is my homie fucking here? I told him we'd be done at 7, so that went fucking good.
We started
Ooh,
at
you said
6:30.
7? Yeah, how was 7? What are we doing?
I said 7 or 7:30.
What a dog. We're just gonna chug.
Half hour of Mcilhenney show.
I would have done it.
Look, I don't know if you guys noticed, but I showed up at 6. I didn't know what time the show was.
We said 6:30.
What's happening with my
John,
Jason,
I misunderstood.
Harry? I took care of it.
You write it off. It's simple. You write it off. Oh, yeah,
I gotta.
he's been here
Okay,
for
so
fucking hours.
I mentioned I'm in Vegas, and so beer zombies. Not calling them out, but
they're not great.
they're fine. I was expecting more.
They're fine.
They did a collab. Aaron, what was the collab? You remember who they did the collab with?
Did you say Aaron?
Was it my brother?
Aaron?
He's here too. He's sitting over there.
I was
Oh,
like, who's Aaron?
He's my brother.
He's the
Was that Beachwood?
hooker.
you had
bro.
another
Dead
person
hooker.
this whole time.
That's what I'm like. You got a side piece there, dude? What are you doing?
Yeah, I'm fucking a
I'm
dude.
just
in Vegas.
kidding, John. No,
I mean, my wife's name is
Aaron could be
Aaron
a
could
female
be-
name.
That's
Like,
true, it
come
could be a
on.
female
Couldn't
name.
Greg's
Calm
wife.
down.
I assume
Calm
it's a man because my brother's a man.
down. I know plenty of ERINs, John.
I know one.
I feel like I need a Hoppy Pilsner or a Miller Lite.
What?
I'm
with
gonna start uploading my show, and I gotta bounce because my homie's been patiently waiting.
bounce on your boy's dick?
for like an hour. I spent the last 3 hours bouncing on my boy's dick, Greg.
You gonna
So
be on?
no.
Jason, you gonna be the meat spin guy when we go on that thing? What are we doing?
I mean, if there's spin is to be riding, then maybe
They spin it.
we
they
won't.
spin
Then
it.
we won't stop. But anyways, dickheads,
I forgot who the collab was. I'll let you go, Jason. It doesn't matter.
I love you,
It's-
Jason.
I'll see
The beer,
you
the
all-
beer in
Jason.
Vegas is
Or be
mediocre
Summit.
at best. That's what I'll say.
Yeah, Vegas beer is better
Able
than
Baker's
it
good.
was, but it's still better than it was, but it still sucks.
Jason, call what is Vegas beer sucks.
No, I'm not saying it
I
sucks.
like.
It doesn't
It's
suck
just-
as much as it did 5 years ago, but it still sucks.
They're so close to California, but so far away in terms of beer. I'm like, what is going
John,
on?
what's better, Michigan beer or Vegas beer?
I don't know.
Michigan by a
I want to say
Michigan.
Michigan. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll give them that one. How about that?
The thing with Vegas is like the places in Vegas aren't incentivized to feature like casinos.
See,
and
that's
shit
where
don't
you're
feature
wrong.
beer.
Yeah, okay, you're right about casinos, but we went to Yard House and they have a whole local beer section.
Well, yeah, the Yard
featured in the
House,
menu,
which their
and then
whole
even-
gimmick is we have a lot of beer.
I know, and their beer is
They're going
normally
out of
shitty
business,
just
too.
because it's not.
Are they really?
A lot of them are. Yeah.
It's not handled well. But the
Bankrupt.
the bar at our hotel, they're powered by Untapped, and they've got 50 handles.
Powered by Untapped.
And well, that was kind of cool to see. I'm like, yeah,
we're-
Yeah.
you know,
No,
Did you
honestly,
see,
that-
did you see like your
that's
name
dope.
when you check a beer in? Oh, you don't.
Do I
that.
what?
Never mind. I was gonna say, do you see your name up on the thing when you check? A
They
beer in,
have
but you don't-
the
you don't-
Oh, yeah,
displays
that's
with
right.
the
you don't
check-in
check
names.
beer in
Yes.
there.
All right, I do got to bounce.
All right, later, Jason.
Vegas beer
Later,
sucks. Thug life.
San Dimas high school football rules.
Do you find that collab yet? Oh. God, I want to say it was because I saw it and I'm like, oh, it's got to be good.
Whenever I go to Vegas, I go to
Which
Able
one?
Baker.
I've
Able
heard,
Baker Brewing.
I found Able Baker.
Yeah, just drive to where the tallest building is. I forget the name. The Stratosphere. There's like the Arts District, and you can walk to like 10 breweries right there.
Yes, it's the Arts District. That's what's
Right.
the new.
And Able
buzzword.
Baker, yeah, they have maybe like 24 taps and a
And
restaurant.
The Strat
like
is no
brew pub.
longer the tallest building in Vegas.
Oh, okay.
I think.
I don't know.
God, I want to say the
You
Win.
can go to the
or
highly recommend going to the Punk Rock Museum right there, and
oh, that's right. I forgot
definitely-
about the
definitely
Punk Rock
worth-
Museum.
dude, it's worth like it's 2 hours of your time really, in and out.
John, have you been to Aces and Ales?
I have not.
That's a cool spot, man.
Well, we're here because of my dad, and so we're most of the time we're with my dad, and so when we go somewhere, it's to eat, and these places don't have food. So
Yeah.
I mean,
Abel Baker got food.
I feel bad coming to Vegas to be with my dad and then party.
Not a lot of vegan shit.
Like,
Dude,
no,
you know what's cool?
I've been eating all vegan since I've been here,
Dude,
except
if you
for
go to-
some nachos the other night.
If you go to the Wynn, they have every restaurant in the Wynn has a vegan menu.
Okay,
Did you know that?
Didn't know that.
I mean, it's probably expensive AF, but
Well,
Oh,
That's a true
that
story.
wizard baby. Look at that.
all right. I'm gonna hold on a second. I'm gonna grab a Miller Lite.
I'm gonna go grab a brew too.
I'm gonna
boof it,
So I'm
Greg.
gonna keep
I'm
you
gonna boof
guys. Don't boof it. Man, you teach a guy a word and then he's like all about it. This Joe guy, I tell you, right? Anyways, I'm glad I saved this beer because I was really excited about having it. This is the wizard sleeve, wizard hand, wizard wand, wizard thing.
Actually, I lied, Greg. I grabbed one of the monkish West Coast Pilsners I bought with you the other day.
Oh, fun.
Dude, we like sitting there drinking those low ABV beers. Their Pilsners were so fucking good.
That was good, right? I mean,
Yes.
Monkish
So you
knows how
said
to make beer.
Those crispy boys were so good.
I sent
I got-
3 other people there. I'm like, dude, you got to go check out
Yeah.
Drum Break, dude. Get some Drum Break.
Well, the other place though, what the heck was the name of that place that we went to? The comic book place, Unsung.
Unsung, yeah.
That beer was fucking.
I went back
awesome.
there, dude. I went. I got a 4-pack from Unsung yesterday.
Did they do like?
Or
Did
the
you do a
day
mixed
before.
4-pack?
No, I just get the Force Orb.
That's what we drank.
Force Orb.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they
Ooh,
charged
this
me
is
$9
good.
for the 4-pack.
That dude.
I was like,
That's insane.
I'm like, that's like what,
Okay.
$3 a pint.
John, are you a fan of Unsung Brewing?
Yes.
I went there for the first time last weekend. And it was delicious.
I took
So
it.
you're also a fan then?
Mm-hmm. I got the stickers.
I'm
on
a
the fridge
huge
to prove it.
Unsung fan. Unsung is like one of my favorite breweries. Are you kidding me?
I'd never even
Word.
heard of it, dude.
And their whole aesthetic with the comic books and
Mm.
superheroes is pretty
just
Yeah,
cool.
I'm
kill it.
saying the boys were with me, and like we all hung out with Greg, and like they were. I mean, I don't know. Greg might think my kids are crazy, but they
No,
like the
they're
whole
fine.
like,
like
they
they're
like the whole
boys,
comic
dude.
book thing. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the beer we found it. It was a West Coast Pils by Beer Zombies in collaboration with Arrow Lodge. So what does that
Arrow
tell you?
Lodge.
Should be good, right?
It should be.
Should be a banger.
It was fine. There
Although I
was
will
no-
say, John, 2 years ago, Arrow Lodge lost their head brewer, so maybe
I know that,
that's not
but you would
bad.
assume they could hire someone that's just as competent to make good
Hey,
beer.
you would assume Green Flash could make good fucking Alpine
That's
beer
very
too.
true. Very true. Very true. But it was fine. I was like, Aaron didn't like it. I'm like, you might like West Coast Pills. He's like, if this is what West Coast Pills is, I don't want any more. I'm like, well, that's not what West Coast Pills is.
Ugh.
Is your brother like a big beer guy or just kind of?
He's not a big beer guy, but he likes Mine Haze and Coors, and he was into craft beer for a couple of years there, and he kind of dips in and out.
I mean, who doesn't?
He
fucking
likes
Coors,
good
man?
beer. I'll say that.
There you go. I just was wondering, like, if you guys got into it like at the same time. Like, has he ever homebrewed?
Show my hat.
Aaron, have you ever homebrewed?
Aaron, check out my hat.
Mine Haze. I like it.
What's that?
It's all dog fur all over it.
He brewed twice and it didn't go well. So
Oh, okay. I've never brewed, so I can't. I just was wondering because you were a home brewer.
we're gonna
Let's
brew
make
one
some
day.
beer.
Now.
I never had a brother, so like I would think like, oh, I'd play baseball and brew beer with my brother.
Yeah,
That's
when's
not our
the
relationship.
yeah,
We're
Jason
getting along
was
great
talking
right
about-
now, but when you bring politics into it, it's.
Oh no. Oh jeez.
Not for hat.
I love my brother though, and I don't hold it against him. He's not a wacko. He's
Yeah.
he's just not.
Same with
you
my
know,
fam.
Not in line with my viewpoints.
Hey, listen, that's what makes us fucking amazing. We're all different.
Exactly. Yeah, but I was really expecting the Arrow Lodge and Beer Zombies beer to be something that would stand out, and it was basically like a little. It was a pilsner with a little bit of hop character on
I
it.
don't think I've ever had a beer
So-
zombies beer.
Well, they put on like cool beer festivals and stuff. like-
I've heard they're like the best beer festivals ever.
Yeah, but so you would think it's like, oh, they must make fantastic beer, and turns out
Yeah.
they make it's fine beer. It's fine.
Yeah.
You go to
Is it just
again,
contract brewed or
drive
what?
3 hours to I don't. They have a brewery here, and it's I think it's 30 minutes from us, so we might go there. But I'm assuming they brew all their own beer because they have a brew house. So
Yeah, I mean, Lorenzini's saying we should collab with Kyle and making a beer. Let's do that.
I would love to do
Hoppy
that.
pills.
Why is Kyle saying first show, fourth show? What the fuck do we do?
I don't know.
Maybe Kyle's on first show, fourth show,
He's drinking Oktoberfest somewhere.
calling us out.
Dude, that was me Wednesday night at the Padres game, bro. Like my buddy got me those tickets, and you go into that club, and everything is free, everything. And
So-
they had a bottle.
Free.
No, well, listen, I think did I tell you guys those tickets are $125,000 each for a season?
Free.
Right. So I'm just saying, like that's the cost.
Damn
of
well
those
better
things.
if you be free for
But I'm saying,
$125,000.
Dude, you walk into this club and they sit you down and they give you a menu and they go, okay, pick an appetizer, a salad, and an entree and a dessert. I couldn't have half of the stuff, but whatever. So you get like fed an entire meal. You're sitting watching Padres players take batting practice in batting cages. And so, and
You
then
can yell at them.
they can't see you. Like you can look in, but they can't. Yeah, it's like jail. An interrogation room.
Like put your boob up to the
Allegedly.
glass.
Yeah, exactly. Right, for sure.
Pass cigarettes.
So, but they tell you, they go like, I ate whatever I ate, and like she was like, "How was your food?" I'm like, "Oh, it was like good enough where I could eat like 30 more of those." She's like, "Do you want me to bring you more?" And I'm like, "No,
Do you
I was
want
just
30 more?
saying." Right, like it's literally like whatever you want. She's like, "What do you want to drink?" And so we're like ordering beers and
I've said those before. It's amazing.
yeah,
Joe,
so-
that's not even living like a rich person. That's
Well, but
living
it-
like a wealthy person. Like
but-
you imagine what life is like for like people
Right.
like Jeff Bezos. It's
You're
fucking
right.
They're like,
ridiculous.
I could buy this team.
Right. So anyway, so we do all that for like an hour and a half, and then my buddy's like, "Let's go down these stairs," and you go down, and then you walk into another bar, and I look, and there's like a bunch of liquor behind like glass, and they have a bottle of Weller 107, which is like my favorite whiskey ever. And so I look at the bartender, and I'm like, "Hey, since that's like behind glass, like what does that cost?" And he's like, "It's free." And I'm like, "It's free?" And he goes, "Yeah." And I
It's
go,
free.
I go, "Okay." I'm like, "Can I have a pour of that neat?" And he goes, "Well, by law, I have to put like the smallest piece of ice I can find in it." I'm like, "That's fine." So like he pours this fucking massive pour of Weller 107, which would probably be like in Southern California, it's probably like
Probably
$100.
$70.
Yeah, $100. And so he pours it, like we're sitting there talking, I drink it, and he goes, "You want another one?" I'm like, "Okay, the
Want
game's getting
another
ready
one?
to start." Yeah. So I have two like massive
Dude,
pours
just
of this.
drunk.
Yeah, and then like we're getting ready to walk
You
to
have
our seat.
diarrhea. Second inning.
Jesus Christ. Let him
Dude,
talk.
You're right. No, Greg is so right. That was my next day. But so we're getting ready to walk to our seats, which I'm on TV the entire time, which was really weird. I'm getting texts
That
from
was
people.
I mean, I didn't
Yeah.
watch the game, but you sent a screenshot and that
It
was
was
I was
crazy.
like, hey, there's Joe. I
Yeah.
see that stash.
So like I'm getting ready to like we're getting ready to walk to our seats, and he goes, "Do you want a to-go cup?" And I'm like, "What does that mean?" He's like, "Oh, I can pour this. I can give you another
Always
pour
say
in a-
yes.
in a plastic cup." I'm like, "Sure." So he like gives this fucking huge pour in this plastic cup, and I'm like, "Can I have whatever light beer you have on tap?" I don't even know what it was. I'm like, "I need something. Like I can't keep drinking whiskey like this."
right.
Yeah.
So he gives me whatever light beer I'm drinking, and you walk through and you go into this big room, and there's just these tables full of it's every like thing you can think of at a stadium, and it's just sitting out, and you just grab whatever you want. There and like in the back, there's a carving station. Dudes are eating fucking like
What?
London broil, whatever the fuck that shit
Yeah,
is
yeah.
that they're carving. There's a baked potato bar. There's an ice cream bar. There's
Yeah.
a whole candy rack. There's everything, and I'm like, this is
I've had
insane.
that.
Yeah, and people are just grabbing whatever they want. So I'm walking with this plastic cup of fucking Weller and this beer, and we go up to our seats and we sit down, and the girl's like, "What are you guys drinking?" And my buddy's like, "Oh, he's drinking Weller and whatever light beer they have." And she's like, "Okay, well, whenever it's empty, just let me know, and I'll bring you a refill." And I'm like, "I'm gonna die."
Okay.
So like, she would literally watch us, and as soon as I was done drinking something, she would come back up, and be like, "Here you go." And I'm
Damn
like,
straight.
"What the fuck is happening?" Dude,
Yeah.
I had to have drank $700 worth of booze that night. It was crazy.
Wow.
Easy. Yeah.
But you're
you
right,
know,
John. Like that's just a taste of like what wealthy people do. Like you're
I'm
right, like,
happy.
those-
I'm happy with my life. Like I'm well off. I got
too.
money in the
But-
bank. You know, I'm healthy. It's all good. But when you see the next level, it's like,
Yeah.
man, that would be fun.
I told my buddy who got those tickets, I'm like, "Hey, if you ever get this like these again, let me know. I'll come with you, but I'm getting a fucking hotel room."
He's not the dude that paid 125 grand.
No,
a
so
year.
it's one of his. He's in construction, so it's one of his customers who he was like, "Yeah, we gave him $8 million worth of business this year, and he kicks me down these tickets." So
Oh, okay.
That's cool.
yeah,
Yeah.
But
I've had
like,
the same
when you-
experience at Angel Stadium before
yeah, it's
as
the
a
best, dude.
blogger.
But But I just was like, next time I do this, I have to not drive. That drive home was miserable.
Oh no, you shouldn't be driving.
I know, it was dumb, but I was
of course,
like,
Joe was completely sober. I mean,
no, I was fine.
Waited.
Like, whatever.
I
did. I stopped drinking in like
coffee.
I stopped drinking in like the 5th inning, whatever. But yeah, I was just like, I can't do this again. And then I had to get up early to go to work. And yesterday was just
I would have called in sick.
It was awful.
No, I like your. We have a private chat in Discord, and I like Joe coming in like, "Hey guys,
So drunk.
guess what?"
It was like me last week when I showed up. I'm like, I'm drunk still from my parents' party.
You ran a 10K. No, I'm still drunk.
Nope.
But yeah, doing that, highly recommended if anyone can ever do that. If you can get Blue Diamond Club seats to the Padres, do it.
If you can party,
No,
like you're
especially
rich.
the Padres. That'd
Well,
be a
dude,
fun sweep.
and my buddy sent me this post by the Padres on Instagram. The chef that was there that night we were there, it was a guest chef. She was like a James Beard Award winner. Like the food was unreal. It was unreal.
Killer.
So, yeah,
That sounds cool, man.
It was really
That sounds fun.
And we get like Aramark.
I mean, I would have been happy with fucking Taco Bell at that point, but whatever.
I'd be stoked about Taco Bell. Free Taco Bell. I'm down.
Dude, for
Let's
sure.
go.
Well, and before
Man,
we got there, like we went downtown. Del Taco, best French fries ever. I always say that.
Dude.
But, like we started at these bars downtown, like had drink. Like it was a fun Wednesday. I don't do that ever, but that was fun.
Del Taco and Swami's. I'm there.
That's like my
That's your death row meal?
Electrocuted. That's my death row. My bold red burrito.
I was gonna do a video of that
Swami's.
on my YouTube channel. Like if you guys were getting ready to get like death row, like what would be the last beer that you drank?
If I was on death row, I wouldn't give a fuck because I'm about to die.
But I'm just saying, like if you're like, this is the end of my life, what's the beer
I get
you
it.
would pick?
I mean, Swami's.
That's a good
Bottle
one.
of Weller.
It's the beer I drink. I don't know. And there's Swami's in Vegas. We just bought Swami's across the street from the hotel.
Is it pretty
That's
fresh?
It's from
always
July. Mid-July.
Swami.
It's fine.
July?
Yeah.
Oh, it's
Mid-July.
only September. Okay. I thought it was.
It's
For some reason, I thought it was like December.
Joe's still drunk from the baseball
That Wednesday's coming back on me.
I just saw in chat. We got somebody in the chat from Finland, and then somebody from Shark Homebrewing Adventures from Australia.
Holy shit!
Wow.
Hey, Australia, you get all the what was the beer?
I don't know if they're still hanging out, but
they get all the shit. What is it?
I'm gonna pull a Tim Pool and say, what time is it in Finland, Russia or Finland?
Well, he
Greg, what
posted
did
that.
you
He
say?
said
What-
it's the morning.
Greg,
It was 5:40 something.
He's
What
up
did
at
you say goes to
5:40 watching
Australia?
us?
All the bad stuff.
All the wild turkey
Oh, that's right.
goes to RTDs or Australia.
Yeah, Mr.
It's
Australia.
6 o'clock in the morning in Finland. Finland, by the way, that's where Jason Ahlstrom moved to. He is a citizen of Finland.
Finland's dope.
And Finland seems pretty cool. I don't see. I work on elevators,
Yeah, it's pretty
and when you work on
saunas and
foreign
shit.
elevators, that's kind of intimidating. I don't know if I could handle that, especially because they're probably old, and I don't want to work on old fucking elevators. I don't know.
You need to work on them.
No,
though, so
they
you
go
can
up
fix
and
them.
down.
We can fix them.
I don't want to fix shit. I just want to go to work and cruise.
It's one of cruise chicks.
No,
Go up and
I just want to
Love
punch
it
in and punch out.
elevator.
No, I cruise because I take care of my route. Just disclaimer for anyone that's watching from my company. But
Dude, I was at my parents' birthday party. One of our old friends who actually used to work for us, he got into the elevator business in San Diego. He is crushing it right now.
what's the name of the
Down-
company?
I can't remember. They're doing all the new elevator stuff for the airport in San Diego.
Ooh,
He was-
they got to be union. They
Dude,
gotta
he
be
was
union.
telling me
Elevator.
like with all the overtime that he's making right now, it's an insane like living he's making. He's
See, what are
working
the
a
names
lot.
again? 5-star comes to mind. The elevator company comes to mind.
I mean, I could I don't know if he's
Dude, ask him. This is my fucking wheelhouse.
Well,
And it's 1 o'clock
well.
in the afternoon in Australia. So, Mr. Australia,
Right on.
Shark Homebrewing.
So Shark
you're,
Homebrewing Adventures. I want to go
fucking hanging.
hang out at Shark Homebrewing Adventures. I mean, what kind of adventures do you get into? You're like, let's go buy some malt, boys. And you're like, hop in the van and like, and like hop out, grab the malt, run back, throw it in the fucking vessel. What's the strike temp? Oi, mate.
all right. I just sent him a
Five-
text.
5 stars more Orange County. It's not 5-star. And I think they got bought out.
He
anyway
works down
by
here in
other
San
company.
Diego.
Yeah. See, even San Diego, if I moved, because I'm not ruling out in the future moving south. I'm like, I'm so happy and content working in an empire. Like, but if I go to San Diego, our union has a hall in San Diego, so I'd have to transfer to San Diego, and then I can't go.
John, there's a house for sale right next door to me that you could live in.
Well, guess what, Joe? Maybe when
Greg's
you bought your house
on it.
20 years ago, you could afford it, but
Greg and I are going to play fucking Street Fighter the whole time.
It's just 65 grand a piece for a down payment. That's all it takes. I got the money.
We could do that.
Who would win? Okay, so Chun-Li's leg kick and Honda or E-Honda's hand slap.
His hand slap
Who
has
wins?
it's got a bigger range, I think. So I think E-Honda's the play there. I think
he's got ghost.
E-Honda's like
it's kind of like Blanca's electricity
like,
thing. Like you got to be close when you're Blanca to like electrocute people. Same shit though.
Right.
You
Yeah,
know?
but like range, you're like I could Dalsum your ass from across the map.
That's true, but Dalsum's pretty weak as far as like.
I know he has no defense.
John, he
Yoda
said
Flame.
Kone.
Kone.
Or Kone.
Yoda
Do you know that?
Flame.
Kone. Yeah. Is
that bad?
I worked for them 23 years ago.
Kone.
They're not
bad. Are they bad?
I mean, no.
He's killing it right now doing the San Diego airport stuff.
Good for him.
Yeah.
No, Kone as apps, they're not bad at all. I mean, they're as bad as every other big elevator company, but I'm not going to talk shit on Kone.
Are they union?
Yes, absolutely. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Great company. I work for TKE. Tell him that. He should know who that is.
Okay.
And tell him I'm John Holzer. He might know my name. No, my dad. It's because of my dad. He's a big dude in the trade. So
he's like John Holzer. He's the guy who I read his book.
The guy from Four Brewers. Does he know?
No,
Greg
my dad.
Michael?
He was our business agent for 20 years.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you guys like rivals or are you guys buddies?
Did you have like
You mean my company and his company?
street gangs?
They're drama.
They've been
like
taking
Bad
a
Boy
lot.
versus
They've been
Death
taking
Row?
a lot of my work. They
Really?
Whatever salesman is out in the
Man, you gotta-
empire is fucking crushing it. And
You got to
stealing
kill that guy with a
jobs.
trident.
I'm telling you, man. Again, Kone's fine. Am I happy with Kone right now? Not at all, because they're taking my jobs,
Yeah.
taking my contract.
They're taking a little butter off your bread, playa?
It's not my fault. It comes down to promises made by salespeople and whether or not they can sustain those promises. So.
True.
You make me promises. Who sings that song, Greg?
That would be Wham. No, I don't know.
I think it's Hall & Oates, isn't it? Shit.
Promises.
No, I don't.
No, that's like I
Promises,
think it's a British band, right? Like ABC or
Oh, it's Naked Eyes.
Naked. Yeah, I would never
Is
call
that right? I don't even know
I
who
don't know,
Naked Eyes
man.
is. I just know the song.
It was a
Great.
one-hit wonder.
Great song, by the way. I love one-hit wonders. Like all these people talk shit about one-hit wonders. I fucking love one-hit wonders. I'm a fan. Also, it looks like you're sitting by like a campfire right now. What is happening?
It's my light.
Oh,
And what's
like
cool about this, I don't know if
your
I can
dark space. It looks like there's
put it
like
on
fire
camera.
illuminated.
Look,
Oh, there you go.
Here's my camera.
Yeah.
Here's my my mic stand, and my light on it has a candle feature.
It looks like you're sitting by campfire. I feel like we're doing like
I like
old radio shows. Like you're sitting next to a candle, broadcasting. This is some
Here's-
1946 shit.
There's some Foley, like crickets and shit in the background.
So, like FDR, like campfire shit or candle, whatever. It is.
Actually, that's how we do it. Like, come on over here, sit down next to the campfire. We're
Sit
drinking
on
some beers at old Uncle Greg.
Sit on down with Uncle Greg.
That's going to be my YouTube channel.
Oh,
Let's have some
Uncle
beers
Greg.
at old Uncle Greg.
Oh, Uncle Greg. Come sit
Old
down.
Uncle Greg's beer reviews. John,
Come on over.
so
Give Uncle
my
Greg your
YouTube
kid.
channel. My YouTube channel is going to be, come on down and have a little sit next to me on my old Uncle Greg's YouTube beer reviews.
John, doesn't Greg
Today
lighting
we're
look like
drinking.
this is like some
Today we're
1946
drinking-
campfire radio shit? It does.
Today we're drinking some Muntz IPA. And Muntz comes to you all the way from Alpine, California.
Those
Don't you
boys
forget.
down in Alpine know what they're doing when it comes to
Don't you
brewing.
Those
forget.
McIlhenney boys. Those McIlhenney boys can sure whip up some hops.
They know how to do the whole fucking deal.
Did he respond about me working for TK?
He just
Joe?
said nice. He just said nice.
Oh, okay. That's all that matters. Yeah.
He would just like West Side.
TK is probably the same size as Kone. We were bigger, but then
9 inches.
we were owned by like ThyssenKrupp as a company in Germany. I heard the joke that makes they're in all kinds of shit, and then they sold the America's elevator division to some other Germans, and now we're owned by different Germans.
The Germans
The Germans
are coming for your jobs.
The Germans.
But yeah, Kone, man, taking some.
Kone, my favorite longboard ale. Kone. Oh wait, that's Kona.
Kona.
The
Well, I
elevators
got
at
some.
the hospital for my dad are Kone.
Kone.
I got like a GeoGuessr thing. There's one that's called BeerOguessr.
I think we're gonna suck because Jason's not here. So
I mean,
on, dude. Give
it's
us
all
some
about
credit.
the fun, right?
I'm just being honest. Let's go for it.
I'm just gonna. I'll share it, and then we'll see what happens.
All right, I got like 10 more minutes. Hold on. Let me grab one more beer. Hold on.
All right, let me grab a beer.
Hang on.
Beer guesser.
I haven't seen my wife this whole week. I gotta. Yeah. Hold on.
My wife.
He was drunk at a Padres game on Wednesday. No wonder.
I know, right? Good God. I like this Friday night show, by the way.
It's got a vibe, definitely.
And not only that, but it frees up the weekend to I don't have to worry about shit.
Yeah, I'm. Wait till Joe comes back. Greg was bringing up how he likes the Friday night show thing.
Yeah, I mean, it frees up the weekend for
I think we were saying too.
Friday
like
night,
this,
I'm always doing nothing.
I think this month, we were talking about like schedule wise. I think Friday, the next one's gonna be a Friday night too, right? Because I think
because your open weekend was this weekend, Joe. So
because then you work next weekend, and then I'm gone the next 2 weekends. But I have Friday night, the last weekend of the month.
Yeah.
Look at this beer, by the way.
Slams.
Oh, got a slams.
Isn't that cool?
Slams.
Yeah, put that up there,
boys.
That's a fun label.
Southo. So I heard the Full Pint podcast talking about the Danny got hit up on his Instagram, and
dude, that was fucking nuts.
Was
yeah, he was Danny Full Pint. You know who the Full Pint is, Joe?
I've heard of them. I've never listened.
It's a great beer blog. Like
I've written for him.
They get breaking stories, like great people. Danny Full Pint, Johnny Full Pint, Franny Full Pint. Franny's not there anymore, but awesome people, awesome blog. They used to syndicate our show, so every time we release a show on our site, we would put it on their site.
It'd go out to thousands of people. Yeah,
it was a whole thing. But Danny went down to Green Cheek in Oceanside on a random.
Yeah,
and
he works down there.
Fucking Adam Avery was there from Avery
Bonkers.
Brewing Company, and he lives in San Diego now.
Wow,
like, what?
How wild is that?
And I think he said he went to South O, which I've had beers from South O because we can get them where I live, and they're
South
fantastic
O
beers.
it's a cool spot, dude. It's like a little brewery that you walk in, and if you go down like 2 blocks, there's Best Pizza, which the pizza is fantastic, and they have great beer there.
The best.
It's
well,
the best.
he was saying, he's like, I can kind of relate. He's like, I fucking hate trivia night at breweries, and he walked in on trivia night.
Oh, gotcha.
But South O was fucking packed, and he's like, this is amazing for whatever Tuesday, Wednesday night.
I'm telling you, dude, like Oceanside is crazy. There's like a 2-mile radius where it's Green Cheek, South O, Best Pizza and Brew, Heritage. There's an Artifacts. Like, it's insane for beer.
I'm telling you, the thoughts in the back of my brain, I'm like, I can't afford that house by Joe,
dude,
but
North County is the way to go, dude. I'm telling you.
You can.
And then you just drive a little bit down into Carlsbad, and then you have you've got Pizza Port. What else is in Carlsbad? There's Virgin.
I might die if I live near Pizza Port.
Virgin.
I mean, dude.
Emergency.
It's like one of those things. Again, people are like, "Do you want to trade beers?" I'm like, "No, I just want to drink what's around me.
Again,
I don't care about fucking trading."
Moving from Moreno
That's
Valley,
what craft beer should be about, really.
Yeah.
Moving from Moval to Menifee, the beer, like my beer, options through the roof now. Like, close, like within 10 minutes of my house, and awesome San Diego breweries. It's
like, dude,
incredible.
but you live right next to Carl Strauss. Like, that's people. I think Carl Strauss is so underrated.
They are.
Their beers are fucking awesome.
Yeah, great.
And no one talks about them.
Well,
I talk about them. Carl Strauss.
That's because you know. I'm Carl Strauss.
Carl Strauss.
I think I told you guys when I first moved here in '99, Carl Strauss did his own radio reads, and we're like, "What the fuck?"
that's right.
Like,
Carl
I'm Carl
Strauss.
Strauss,
Ich bin Carl Strauss, and
we can't understand what they're saying.
beers that two drinks to.
But the fact that there's just like an Artifacts tasting room and nobody even knows what Artifacts is, and their beers are so fucking good. It's like,
Artifacts like rules with IPA,
they're
right?
really good.
What's to do with the hair, right? The blonde.
I don't know. I don't know if that's
Johnny.
Didn't they start like in Temecula or something?
No.
San Clemente.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. Speaking of San Clemente, I just got tickets to a show at the Coach House in San Clemente. I've heard that place is rad.
For what?
They're yeah.
My wife. We're gonna go. One of her favorite artists is Joshua Radin. Do you get that? He's like a folksy like guitar player. We're going in November to see a show. I don't fucking know.
Go to Docent Brewing is right down the street.
It's literally in the same. I think it's in the same like parking thing, right?
It's a mile. It's a far walk from Docent.
Oh shit! Damn it.
Docent makes good beer too. Yes.
I've never had their beer, but I was just looking on Google Maps. I'm like, if we take the train,
one of the
it's like a
best
mile
pale ales you've ever had in your entire life.
What were you doing in Orange County last weekend, Joe? Just out of curiosity.
My nephew was playing baseball, and so we went to watch him pitch.
Oh, okay.
But, yeah, so he was pitching at what is it? Hope University? What is that, Greg in Fullerton? Hope? Is it Hope?
I don't
know. It's right across from Cal State Fullerton. He was playing baseball. So we went up there, and I was like, shit, if I'm up here, I'm like, I hit up Greg. I'm like, hey, you want to have some beers while I'm here? So we did.
Perfect. That's awesome.
It was awesome. Yeah, it was great.
Good time.
It was good times.
It's good time.
But yeah, when I was looking at Google Maps of that venue, Docent is there. I'm like, I've never even heard of Docent.
Yeah, homies sort of brew there that know Matt Becker from back in the day.
Like, do they
Brian
can
Geeson.
beers and distribute it anywhere, or it's all
not so much? They sell a lot over there. It's a very popular brewery in South County.
Nice.
Not so much North County.
It seems like
really good red ale.
They do can a lot of beer, but you don't see it on shelves. They just sell it. So
really good.
It's just in their coolers at the brewery.
Yeah. Yep. Pale
That's
ale.
rad. I'll definitely go. Yeah, I'll go check it out.
Lots of GABF.
It's November. I think November 19th or something. It's a Saturday night. So
Saturday.
That's Elton John, right?
Elton John.
Elton John. Oh yeah, dude.
All right, want to try the beer guesser?
All right, let's go for it.
I'm
gonna fucking suck at it, but
maybe people in the chat can help us. Can they see it?
They can see it.
This looks like Northern California. Where are we? It doesn't tell us. We have to guess. Like, is this all of the United States or just California?
I don't know.
Oh,
not only that, but the name of I think this is the brewery.
Jesus.
Go back one click because half the sign was shown. Okay, go to the sign now.
I mean, this looks like Northern California.
Oh, now it's all fully okay.
Fuck, I don't know, man.
I have no clue what that is. Is there anything else like street
roof though?
Is there
Good
street
God.
signs or anything? Jesus.
This looks like maybe
or Oregon,
like very much Oregon.
Where is
the line? The lines in the road are weird. They're not
that's
America
true.
double lines.
I have to
They're not America.
They're a little thin.
I'm gonna say Oregon, like McMinnville.
Wow,
I think I caught a glimpse
specific.
of the sign, and it seemed like it was Asian.
Whoa.
That's all. Again, we can't see the sign anymore, so
we're going here.
Okay, well.
Oh wow, Alabama.
That's
Alabama.
Bullshit, dude. I was in Alabama last year, and there was no good beer there. That's horseshit.
Well,
I mean,
it doesn't say it's a good brewery.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Alabama.
Dude,
right,
you get out of your car in Alabama and it smells like fucking
what in the
barbecue.
fuck? Where's the brewery?
What are we doing?
This is the worst fucking geoguesser I've ever done.
This is like North Carolina. It's all overhead electrical.
Look at that! Look at that sign right there.
I'm saying all the electrical is overhead. So that's not
Cedar
California.
West Apartments. What's the phone number? Is there
There's no area code.
Okay.
What is that green?
Can't cheat that way.
Look at the green sign, the street sign. Does it show like city of something? Oh wait, 7.
Why are there no area codes for the phone numbers?
They have no hose.
That small.
There's no hose in this city.
Wow, it's got like some mountain region.
Like
I don't see. I still don't see a brewery.
Nagel, go back to that green street sign behind you. See if it says like city of
Russell
something.
Street.
Keep going, right there.
See if that says like city of something.
It's Russell.
No, fuck.
Yeah, Russell and McDonald. And where's the
Jeez.
goddamn brewery?
Where's the beer?
This geoguesser sucks.
This is crazy.
This is
This
is
is
residential?
North Carolina?
All right, I'm
All
leaving
right.
this game. This
Yeah.
is horrible.
Do California breweries.
Beer
do
guesser
California.
is my
Let's
We can
make
figure
it
out
easy.
California. Yeah, let's see if we can figure out California.
brewery. Okay, and then
Not that
you do
California
FIFA
is
results.
big or anything.
And then you do maps.
I mean, it's massive, but we might be able to get a couple
and
answers.
sake breweries. Wow.
That was the
Check brewery
joke, Joe.
towns.
Sorry,
Seth's brewery map.
I'm drunk.
What? Who's Seth?
Japanese mountain
No, don't do that.
brewery tap rooms. So yeah, let's try. Let's try.
USA Craft Brewery Tap. Okay, that sounds.
All right, here we
doable.
go. At least there might be breweries on it. Can you hear the music?
Oh,
Cerebral. That is,
Hey, we got
Colorado.
Cerebral.
Is that
Yes.
Aurora, Colorado?
We've been there.
Or no,
No, it's-
Aurora's Illinois.
no, there's Aurora,
Um,
Colorado, isn't there?
Is there?
Yeah.
It was Denver, homie. We've been there.
Okay. You know it is. Yeah,
We drank
dude, we
beers
took that
when they
that
first
fucking-
opened.
that piss Uber ride, right? It smelled like
Yes,
piss or
yes.
something.
It smelled like somebody
Yeah.
took a donkey piss in there.
did you give it a
Dude,
0
that
star?
fucking.
It
that
was like
shit
over
sucked.
here though.
Just do Denver.
Oh
Oh,
baby,
dude,
Boom.
2 miles.
What a
Perfect.
fucking
right?
unit.
I
you
know.
are.
I know. We've been same street too.
You're an
I got the
absolute dog.
street right. I got the street right.
Like
You are
we
a
could
dog.
make a
Bastard.
mistake and walk there. We're so close.
Mm-hmm,
It would just take 40 minutes.
That monster.
40 minutes. You could run
That's
there in
what-
20 minutes, John.
That's why I said 40 minutes, Joe.
Not even 16 minutes.
I said 40 minutes if you
Equinox
walk, 20
Brewing.
minutes if you run. So 40 minutes.
Equinox. Where's Equinox at?
She's like, cheers
Equinox.
with the old boomer guy.
I don't even know where Equinox is.
I don't know either.
Anybody in the
Shit.
chat now?
Brewing. How do you get out?
Equinox, anyone?
There we go. Okay, so I'm
Anybody
outside.
know?
Looks like a college town.
It does kind of.
Looks like a college area, right?
Where is the Equinox?
It's all
This
brick.
looks kind of like Midwesty, doesn't it?
Wow, look at these buildings. How
Those
cool
are
is that?
sick, dude. What is that? What do the street
Parking,
signs say?
Mountain and Remington. I'm just gonna
Hmm.
cruise around a little bit, see if we can get a.
What are the street sign doesn't say
gonna-
like a city
This
of?
guy's getting noshed off in his car.
I want to be in
Gosh.
that car.
970 area code.
We can't look it up.
That doesn't
I
help
don't
me
know.
out.
No, not at all. Historic town, wherever it might be. I don't know. What's on this truck? Any clues
What's
here?
the, yeah? What's the license plate say?
Iron Mountain.
Oh yes,
What's the
well, it's
license
probably
plate, Greg?
They're all
probably-
grayed out.
blurred out. Yeah.
Oh, they're blurred out.
Yep. Crisp and
Fuckers.
green.
Crisp and green. I bet you we can eat some there, John.
We could.
Elevations Credit Union. This seems like a very mountainy region
Is this
somewhere.
like Colorado?
It could be.
I don't know.
What's your best guess here, lads?
I don't know.
I mean, I could cheat.
Well, I was gonna say like
No,
Denver.
no, cheating's not. Yeah,
I'm
because
not
I
gonna
mean,
I
here's
have
the
no
thing.
idea.
Even if you,
I promise.
Shark Home Brewing says Fort Collins.
Also,
That's
I
Colorado.
don't know if Fort Collins is this historic. Like, this sort of has more like Indiana
Collins-
vibes or
Is
something.
Fort Collins Fat Tire?
Yes.
Yeah.
I feel like it's Colorado because it's kind of it's like
just
old
seems
but
like-
hipster. You know? what I
Yeah,
mean?
look at how wide the roads are. Fucking crazy how wide the roads
It
are
is. It's wild.
for a
Wow.
historic district.
Do you see like a lot of 4-wheel drive vehicles? Like, does it snow there? Look at that.
No.
Organic alternatives. This is very hipster.
But it's green.
It's got a Conoco.
Is there
It's
a
a
Does
library,
the gas
okay.
station have a tree like in its?
Is it a self-serve or a full-serve gas station?
That's what the houses are like. Man, this is a tough one.
Fuck it.
I'm
Pick.
saying-
Library.
I'm saying somewhere in Colorado. I just don't know where.
I'm saying he said Fort Collins. Pick Fort Collins, Craig. Fuck it. Who cares?
All right. I just want to see if I can see this little, if it's a library
It's the worst that happens.
and if it has like a city or state. And then if not, Fort Collins it is. Do. Here's
Oh,
Annie's
what's-
Walk.
Who was it?
It's a rock say.
Annie's Walk.
It's a dog.
I don't know, dude.
Oh.
I'm going to.
Yeah, do Fort Collins. That's what the chat said. See how
All right,
close they
where's
were.
Fort Collins?
I have no idea.
Here we go.
Woo woo. Sticky icky icky. Boop. Boop. No.
No way.
What?
Was it right there? Holy
Holy
shit.
fuck.
Fucking
Wow.
Shark Homebrewing Adventures. You are an absolute
Jesus
dog.
Christ.
Way to go.
Who said that
Shark,
in the
baby.
chat?
Shark
Dude.
Homebrewing Adventures.
I don't
Is
know.
he from
unit.
Australia?
Nailed it.
Pulled Fort
Absolute unit.
Collins.
I don't know if he's
Wow.
from Australia, but yeah, Shark Homebrew.
Well,
where are
you know
from,
what?
man?
It doesn't matter. From this point forward, he's from Australia. So
He's going
I
to
mean,
answer all the
we've
rest
got
of our
two- We've got 2 within 2 miles, so we're doing
Dude.
pretty good.
that's pretty rad.
Oh, I hated that they go inside.
What? Why?
What does that say?
Voodoo beer.
beers?
I mean,
They have, like, a water?
Voodoo Ranger is Colorado,
No.
isn't it?
Yeah,
well,
this looks
What does that say?
that's a lot of voodoo.
Food truck.
Voodoo truck.
It says Voodoo Brewing. Voodoo Brewery. Where's Voodoo Brewery at?
Voodoo voodoo weedoo.
This looks maybe Tennessee-ish.
I've never been to Tennessee.
It's really hard to tell. Maybe
Bloomin' Onion.
It looks like
Homestead
shitty parts of
It could be more
Denver.
Midwesty by these buildings, though. Biggs 724 area code.
I don't know that area code.
724, no idea.
Where in the shit are we?
You know what's crazy is 714 is right up the road. Like, why isn't 724 same place? It's weird.
What the fuck is this building?
Green signs like
So
that.
historic. I don't know. I'm just gonna pick my first.
You said Tennessee, right?
Yeah,
Pick,
no,
like,
it was
Nashville
like
or
Nashville. It doesn't
Memphis.
like. It seems more like Chicago-y, but I don't know. Let's see. Let's
Is that
see.
Chicago?
All right, Pittsburgh. Yeah,
Oh,
not
Oh,
too
it's
bad. For only 500 miles off.
it's not bad. It's a quick drive from here to Sacramento.
Woo, woo, woo. All right, let's nail this one, boys. What the fuck?
It's a fucking dentist office.
Dome of Doom.
What is that?
Is this true? It looks like true.
That looks like true. It does look like true. But
What is
it's
true?
but it's too bright.
It's too bright. Yeah, yeah. I
But it
I
might
don't
be
know.
too bright because they're overcompensating for how dark it is. True Brewing in
can't
Denver.
get out.
Denver?
TRVE. True Brewing.
I don't know that one.
Dude, just do Denver.
It's not. Yeah, I don't think this is true.
You don't think
You
so?
don't think it is?
No,
It is
Truth's
very
way more
bright.
classy.
If we can go
I
in
don't
the
know though.
bathroom.
'Cause I remember because true. I remember you go in and the tap wall is on the right, not the left. But it looks like true. All right,
You know
I'm
what?
gonna go with true.
You're right, Greg. You're right. It's not true. It's too bright. It's too bright.
Really, no, it's true.
But it's very thin, like true. Like it's a very
Yeah, it's not
narrow.
true.
Oh, you're
Florida.
Oh
fucking
shit.
Florida.
Yeah, we're way off that. Yeah.
Oh, modern times.
Oh my God.
Modern times. Fucking Greenwood Street. Go to
All
Greenwood
right, where are
Street.
we
We'll get,
going?
like,
Where am I
within
going?
4 feet. Go off
Which,
go 5 to Rosecrans.
Okay,
I know
show
the
me the
building,
five.
but I don't know where it's at.
And if you go
So,
down 5 south, go to Rosecrans, and then you'll go by the fucking titty bar.
Titty bar. All right.
Little Italy. Here's Ballast Point.
You're too far south, I think.
Okay.
Go north a little bit. Zoom in.
Above the 8.
No, so it's 5. It's right before 8, I think. Actually,
Here's Coronado.
Our sports arena. Can you type in places? It'll show you like the location.
Fuck no.
Zoom in. Is that as far as you can go?
Oh, I can go in further, but it just
Shark
makes
Homebrewing
them out.
Adventure says below 8.
It's not. It's 5 because it's right past SeaWorld when you get off at
I'm
Rosecrans.
just saying the dude from Australia knows
Well,
where they're at.
But he's from Diamond Bar, he said, so he knows.
I don't
California.
care where he says he's from. He's from
Well, he
Australia.
said near Sports Arena, same thing. So you go 5 to Rosecrans and you get off at fucking Rosecrans.
I don't
Where's
see
Rosecrans on
Rosecrans,
5?
bro.
It's right. It's there.
There's Friars Road right here.
Friars
right
is
to
off
the,
of 8. That's by
yeah.
the old Jack Murphy. So you're too
Right, it's
far.
by
I
the
think.
Murph.
Shit. Where's
Coronado.
the 5 freeway? Zoom in more.
It's
I
right
can't
here.
see.
It's
That's
the
the 5
freeway.
freeway. Zoom in. Can you zoom
Yes.
in more? I
No.
can't see.
Yes. There's the 5.
Okay.
There it is, right there.
So keep going. Go south. Why are you going back?
Okay.
I can't see those.
5.
Are we by Mission Bay yet? We gotta
5.
be
Yes.
So where's Rosecrans?
Is it before the or after the 8?
It's before. It's before the 8. Almost positive. Where the fuck is Sports Arena?
I don't know.
Hold on.
I think if you drop a pin,
we're just guessing.
We're in the ballpark.
It's
All right.
why
I'm a mile away.
A mile.
It was below the 8, and it was
You're-
east of the 5,
I'm saying you're
or
close.
west of the 5.
You
But
could
it's
run there
before
in
8, right?
10 minutes.
We're a master hiker. Got it.
Right.
We did it.
High five.
All right. I gotta take off, players.
Yep.
All right.
Same
Me
here.
too.
Fucking
All
love
right,
you guys.
Thanks for hanging
everyone,
out,
thanks for
Shark.
hanging
All the
out,
dudes in the
even-
chat on a Friday night. I'm glad you guys hung out.
Shark,
post-show,
you the real
got a
player.
good
Kyle,
spot.
what up?
Yeah.
And
And,
Jimmy C.
He's watching you. He's like, stop. Right there. You're right there.
Thanks,
Stop.
Mr. Shark. Shark Week.
It's crazy how this guy from Australia knows so much about Southern
He
California.
said he's from Diamond Bar, John.
He's from Diamond Bar.
Joe. He's from Australia. We've established
Thanks
this.
for posting the link. We appreciate it, dude. We'll see you next time.
All right, y'all. Have a good weekend. Bye.
See you guys.
Bye bye.